with the people that they've surrounded him with. The big question for me going in will be the offensive line and the health of that. That will be the most important thing for Dak Prescott moving forward.
Moose Johnston on Greeny with Mike Greenberg. The 2021 NFL salary cap is $182.5 million, reports ESPN's Adam Schefter, with a nearly $16 million decrease from 2020. Expect teams to release an unusually high number of players into the free market to get under the cap or create space to address other needs. Teams must be cap compliant when the new league year begins March 17. The Saints, needing to get under the cap, cut receiver Emmanuel Sanders, saving $6.5 million in salary cap space.
Spend your tax return wisely. With Straight Talk Wireless, you can get a Samsung Galaxy A51 for $199. Plus, get the $45 unlimited talk, text, and data plan with no contract on America's best networks for up to 50% less. Tune out the nonsense. Tune in to Straight Talk.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Well, the golf tour continues here at Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. It's Wednesday of Players Championship Week, and we are actually at the place the Players Championship started, at least in this area. It started back in Atlanta, was kind of a revolving tournament in Texas and even in South Florida for the first few years. Then it ended up right here at Sawgrass Country Club for the first handful of years until moving across the street to TPC Sawgrass, and now the home of the Players' Championship over there on the stadium course. And this is a beautiful venue as well. Sawgrass Country Club just redid their clubhouse, and 27 holes and some of the best golf you'll get here in Northeast Florida, and the state of Florida is right here at Sawgrass Country Club. Why are we out here? Well, this is where it started, but also Michelle and Paul Tesori putting on a kids all-star clinic. They do such a fantastic job with this year in, year out. I always say, hey, we're going to get over there and do the show, and then something happens and we don't. We end up at the Players. So I said, you know what, we're coming across the street. This year, Bubba Watson will be here, Webb Simpson will be here, Brittany Lincecum will be here, and Paul Tesori caddies for Webb Simpson. Of course, they won the Players' Championship in 2018. So we'll talk some golf for sure along the way, but we'll talk heavy football as well. Trent Baalke, Jaguars general manager, talked to the media today. Not as revealing as Urban Meyer was yesterday. Brent Martineau here on location. Our Players' Championship Week coverage on the road, brought to you by Talon Wealth Management. Action Sports Jax Studios, filled with Austin Lane here on a Wednesday, and Justin Kuzart, we call him Kuz as well. Austin, your final show, getting ready for the fight, Saturday. You're ready to go, the taper going well, the diet good, you're in a good mental place. Give us an update. Saturday's the big night.
Yeah, Saturday's the big night. Everything's going on schedule, you know, because right now it's kind of like a dress rehearsal, right? So it's more of just the mental game than is the physical game, but that's all going fantastic. Thankfully, I don't have to cut any weight, because usually right now guys would be cutting 10 to 15 pounds, which is always a bummer, and I've seen that firsthand, kind of like the hell they put their bodies through. So I'm not going through that at all. So just a nice casual Thursday coming up, and then a Friday, and then the fight's on Saturday. So I can't wait, man.
You have had a couple of fights where the weigh-in was interesting, to say the least. Whether
your
opponent didn't make weight. Is this going to be an issue on Saturday, do you believe?
Not that I expect. I have fought this guy before, and I think the last time he weighed in, he was 254 pounds. So unless the quarantine weights got to him, there shouldn't be an issue.
I think I had a Facebook memory come up today or yesterday about your fight 2 years ago against your opponent. This is a rematch, first time you've had a rematch in the cage.
Yes.
And it was like exactly 2 years ago tomorrow. It was March 11th, 2019, during Players Week, that you had that fight. So here we go. Rematch in Orlando this time during Players Week. It will be on Saturday. Normal time, do you think? Is it a big card? Do you think you'll get after it about 10 o'clock or so?
Yeah, so it is going to be a big card. It is pro and amateur. I think I want to say there's like 14 or 15 fights as of now. Obviously, that can change with weigh-ins and injuries and things like that. So expectedly, I'll probably be fighting around 9 or 10 o'clock for sure.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
So do you sleep in that day?
Oh, you better believe it, man. I mean, I don't really sleep in that much, just because, you know, obviously when you have a kid that has to get ready for school, and I've been doing the morning show, I've been kind of programmed now to get up around 6 o'clock. So I'm not going to sleep in that much, because it'll kind of break my schedule up. But I'll probably sleep in about 7, 8 o'clock or so.
When you have a fight, everybody always asks, can we see it somewhere? Do you know if this will be streamed?
Yeah, so this is going to be streamed. If you check out the Combat Night website, that information is going to be there. And I also think this one is going to be streamed on Fight TV. So if you go to the Fight TV website, you can purchase the pay-per-view there as well.
Great.
So
another trial subscription I'll sign up to and still pay for 2 years later. $9.99 a month.
Just go ahead and write it off on your taxes. It is what it is. It's for the show. It's not a big deal.
Cody and Ronan, they going over? What's the deal?
No, so actually, so Ronan's on. He's on spring break right now, so he's off the whole week. So my mom's in town watching him, and I think Cody, because she has got schooling and everything. So they're actually going to stream the pay-per-view from my house. So they're going to be in Jacksonville.
Well, fine. I'll go over there.
Yeah, hey, by all means, man, do what you got to do.
Maybe I'll go. I'm trying to think. Where is it in Orlando?
It's like it's at like a resort. It's at the Caribbean Royal Resort in Orlando. And actually it's pretty cool. So like we're staying in the hotel, obviously, the Caribbean Resort, but the fight is going to be there as well. So it's all under one roof, which is pretty convenient in terms of travel and all that stuff. So yeah.
I could probably sell Steph and the kids on that. Ty's got a game in Gainesville earlier in the day.
There you go.
Not that Gainesville's like right next to Orlando, but
yeah,
we could do it. We'll already be on the road. So.
Sure.
Or do you know if they're allowing fans in?
I know they are. I'm not sure if tickets are already sold out because obviously it's going to be minimum capacity, I believe, with COVID and especially at the resort. That I couldn't tell you wholeheartedly. If you go online, you could probably check that out, but I'm not sure as of right now.
We did the Google check yesterday, man. I'm Brent Martineau. Do you think I care if tickets are sold out?
Hey, just get one of those media credentials, you're good to go. Or just say you're going to be my Iceman.
One of my favorite things, I love this part, we've been co-hosting this show for over 2 years now, and I just interviewed you before the fight.
Sure.
You're not co-host. You turned into my interview subject.
Oh no, it's all good, man.
Fight.
No, it's all good. Anything where you can get your MMA chops up a little bit. We interview MMA fighters. It's all good, man. I'm glad to help out.
All right. It is Players Championship week. You guys have some homework to do. I probably didn't tell you in time, but you got to pick a winner and a sleeper for the Players Championship. Who do we think will win the golf tournament? That is on the agenda today. Kuz, I want you to play along, so just throw a dart or something, man, and we'll see what happens. It might be just as good of a selection. Trent Baalke, he talks today to the media, day after Urban Meyer talked to the media. I would say a whole lot less revealing.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, the perception, we have no idea exactly what's happening inside, but the perception is, and has been, and I like this, is that Urban Meyer is the center figure in the Jags organization right now, even more so than Shad Khan. Shad Khan obviously owns the team and he's a big figure, and I think he's part of it, says he wants to be a part of it. But I think the central figure, and in Shad Khan's words, it was a coach-centric organization is what he wants to make it into, and that is certainly the case with Urban Meyer. And what does that do to Trent Baalke's role is very interesting from a perception standpoint. I think it's carried away and disrespectful to say, well, he's a puppet in the building. I don't believe that. I think he's someone to tap into for knowledge. I think he's someone to discuss for decision-making and help kind of Urban Meyer along the way. Because remember, he did this before with Harbaugh in San Francisco, a guy that was going from college or getting into the NFL game from college at Stanford it was, and even San Diego or San Diego State? San Diego, I think it was, for Harbaugh. So he's kind of that helping hand. And so I'm not trying to be disrespectful and minimize Baalke, but at the same time, we have to remember it's a coach-centric organization now. That's what Shad Khan has built. And if you look at the last 2 days, you really get that feel. A lot of the answers, the concrete answers, came from Urban Meyer. A little bit more what we'd expect out of a GM head coach maybe. Today from Trent Baalke, where I really can't say too much. We're on the verge of signing some of these guys. And by the way, I'm okay with that. I understand that. I get that. That's part of the business. You don't want to tip your hand. But there was certainly that feel today, Austin, where Baalke was less revealing about what the Jags have intended. And I think part of that is what we talk about a lot, what we talked about yesterday. It's the messaging. And the messaging is going to come from Urban Meyer, not from anybody else in the building.
So this is what happens when you hire the head coach before the GM. Now, granted, Baalke was already there, so, I mean, you're kind of hiring in-house, but obviously they hired Urban Meyer first, and then they announced the GM later. And in doing that, you set a precedent of where, okay, it's going to be the head coach running things, establishing the culture, and then it's the GM's job to negotiate the contracts and kind of help find that talent a little bit. This is kind of where the NFL is going a little bit now, it seems like. I think Matt Rule is a classic example in Carolina where, when they got him in there, obviously they gave him a lot of freedom. They gave him that big deal contract that the old GM was out, and now there's a new one in, but it seems like it's the Matt Rule show, if you will, and how they establish the culture and everything like that. Urban Meyer's the same thing. And I think you heard with some of those answers today. I mean, for instance, Baalke kind of, relayed the information of he hasn't seen Trevor Lawrence in person throw. I mean, at the pro day, the offensive coaching staff went because only 3 coaches could go. As far as the Zoom interviews with Trevor Lawrence has gone, Baalke has not interviewed Trevor Lawrence yet on the Zoom conversations. So you get this sense that it's a lot more football-centric right now than it is just meeting and saying I'm the GM and things like that. Now, I think Baalke eventually will talk to Trevor Lawrence, do his due diligence and all that stuff. But you just get the feeling right now this is culture. And when you talk about the culture, it starts with the head coach and Urban Meyer.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think also by the way, that was the pollen talking right there. Yeah.
I didn't even notice.
Did you hear that?
No, I didn't.
My voice was raspy. And if I could do that for 3 hours, might be onto something. But I can taste the pollen this week.
Nice.
In every breath. Baalke said also he'd seen him throw it a bunch, because of past games. And, that's what Balke's job was, more to go evaluate and scout and be at games and up close in person. And so there was a little bit of it, well, you guys go see this, Bevel and Schottenheimer. Instead, I see what I see. I know what I see. Mm-hmm. But I think it also hints a little bit when it comes to Trevor Lawrence, there's no doubt what they're doing. And Trent Baalke doesn't need to get to know Trevor Lawrence. He just has to go run the card up there. Urban Meyer, Brian Schottenheimer, Darrell Bevel, they need to get to know every little thing about Trevor Lawrence. Not to vet him out to pick him, but instead to get to know him to how now they're going to work with him for the next year, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it might be. And so I think some of it was read into that, well, Baalke's not part of this. He's staying at home. Well, you can only have so many guys anyway.
Sure.
And the other part of it is Baalke's decision is easy at number 1. We all know that, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, there's really no secret about that. And while the Jags are still doing their due diligence on other guys, as they should, we know what they're doing at number 1. And so I think we should be a little bit careful in that regard when it comes to Baalke to say, well, he's not doing anything inside the building because he's not even at Clemson's pro day. He's not in the Zoom meetings. Listen, Baalke's job when it comes to Trevor Lawrence is done. Number 1 pick, number 1 on the board, Trevor Lawrence. Okay, let's move on. Trent Baalke should be really working on number 25.
No, very true. But at the same time, and we're all preconditioned to think this way. I'm not saying it's right, but usually we think, all right, it's the GM's job to build the roster, right? Yeah. It's his job to establish the players, and the coach obviously coaches them. Well, you get the feel that this is a little different setup here in Jacksonville now, because even if the fact that you're taking Trevor Lawrence number 1. I think a lot of the GMs, if they knew that still, they would still be there just because, they're responsible for it at the end of the day, right? Regardless if Trevor Lawrence is going to be maybe a 3-year guy, a 5-year guy here, or he's going to be an all-pro Hall of Famer for years and years to come in Jacksonville, you get the sense that any GM would still want to go to that pro day and see it in person. Now, like he said, only 3 people could go. He was the odd man out, so be it. But I still think it speaks a little volumes in the fact that, I'm not saying Urban Meyer, this is his call on the entire roster, but obviously he has a lot more influence now taking the coaches as opposed to taking the GM to the pro day.
Yeah, I think what's important to note is Trent Baalke is going to be a very important part of this. His knowledge of the NFL, his knowledge of doing this before going through the draft, with the Jaguars having 11 picks, man, that is going to be priceless for Urban Meyer. So they have to work together. This is not what I'm trying to eliminate here is, and I get it, I think it's great. It's coach-centric. Urban Meyer's running the show. No doubt about it. He's going to have his fingerprints everywhere. He should. But just don't get wrapped up in I think Trent Baalke's a puppet kind of perception, because I think he's doing a lot behind the scenes. I think he has to do a lot. This relationship is still very, very important. Urban Meyer might walk one step ahead of Trent Baalke whereas in the past we've seen guys walk together down the hallway.
Yeah.
But that one-step separation can't be 5 steps. It's got to be a close relationship. They've got to help each other out. And right now, especially in year one, in what Urban Meyer calls the biggest month maybe in franchise history, he's really got to help Urban Meyer out. He's got to come up big. There's just as much pressure, in my opinion, on the scouting staff and the GM of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Trent Baalke, as there is on Shad Khan and Urban Meyer and everybody else. They all have to get it right now in Jacksonville.
No, they absolutely have to all get it right. And if a few things came away from this press conference, like we talked about, the chain of command a little bit. That this still, I mean, in my opinion, this is Urban Meyer's show. I thought it spoke volumes when Balke was asked about, the new training facilities and what the plan is going forward. He didn't really have a clear answer. He didn't, really seem to be in the know of that stuff unless he just didn't want to disclose that information. But that's fine, because it's not the GM's job to worry about facilities and stuff like that. On the other side, though, Urban Meyer's been very candid and very open about, hey, we got to add this. We got to add this, hopefully sooner rather than later. So to me, it's very telling that in terms of, once again, the culture and getting things turned around, that's Urban Meyer's job. And as far as just evaluating the talent and trying to find those quote-unquote Urban Meyer guys, that's where Balke comes into play. And I think everybody understands that, and the chain of command is understood as well.
Yeah, now, listen, I did ask him at the end about James Robinson because I thought that was the one thing we didn't talk a lot about yesterday. And James Robinson was, really – Urban Meyer had nice things to say about him. Let's just say that. I mean, he said, hey, we're good there. Yes. I mean, I forget the exact verbiage, but it was like, hey, we like what we see. Whereas a tight end room, it was like, we need to rebuild that sucker.
Yeah.
And so James Robinson really impressed, and it shows. Sometimes we can be fooled by a really good season. And a guy goes in, especially one that he didn't bring in, and Urban Meyer and even Balke say, and go and really dissect that tape. The new running back goes, listen, he did an unbelievable job, but there's some hidden stuff in here, much like people would have assessed, say, like a Blake Bortles year, back in 2015, and say, it wasn't as good as some people think. Well, it's pretty clear after Urban Meyer, Balke, and them talk about James Robinson that it was as good as we all thought. And I think that's a nice sign for James Robinson. They like what they have. This is a sincere find. This is a guy they think can do it again. But I also thought Balke was pretty good about saying, hey, we need to be dynamic. We need to be explosive. We need to help him out. We can't just give him the ball every time. And that is very true. They had nothing, man, behind James Robinson. I mean, it was like 95% of the carries went to James Robinson. There's a lot of work to be done in that running back room still for the Jacksonville Jaguars. 1, to get him some help, but 2, to make them really explosive and dynamic. And I think what they do at the running back position will tend to tell you a little bit more about what they want to do and run on offense.
Absolutely. And if you expect James Robinson to be the bell cow because he had a good rookie year, which he did, you're still naive, though, and you're doing the team a disservice. I mean, the way the NFL is going now, where it's offensive-oriented, where it's passing-oriented, you got to have that third down back. You have to have that change of pace back. Almost every single team has it. Very rarely do you rely on the bell cow anymore. Like, even Alvin Kamara gets subbed sometimes for, I think it was Latavius Murray last year. Like, every running back is going to get subbed at some point in the game. It's just you have to keep those guys fresh, and you got to keep them healthy. So I can definitely see a change of pace back. It's something that we celebrated last year with Chris Thompson. Unfortunately, with a couple injuries here or there, and then emergence of James Robinson. We didn't see Chris Thompson a lot. You're hoping this year you can kind of see that true third down slasher type of running back, because Urban Meyer would love that too. Urban Meyer loves going for the home run, right? And one way to get the home run is running those wheel routes, running those jet sweeps, and getting the running back involved in the pass game. So they absolutely need to attack some kind of a explosive, dynamic back to complement James Robinson and the power, and the, I guess, stick-to-itiveness, if you will, that he runs with.
Well, let me just specifically, if you could just grab somebody from around the league, give me 2 players that you think they might be thinking about. And I'm not saying to go get free agency, go trade. I'm just asking if there was a comp to X player and another comp to X player in the draft, they might say, hey, we like that. We think this guy looks like that.
Yeah.
That could complement James Robinson. Does anything come to mind? I'm kind of putting you on the spot here. But
No, you are. But no, that's fine, though. I mean, I got no problem. So 2 guys off the top of my head, actually really 3 guys off the top of my head. Let's go to free agency, where I think at least are free agents or are going to be free agents. Duke Johnson out of Houston just got released. Now, Duke Johnson, as an every down back, he struggled. But when he was in Cleveland, he had some of his best years as a receiving third down back. The guy is very dynamic. I think a guy like Duke Johnson, I think a guy like Tevin Coleman out of San Francisco, when he's healthy, he's on. And obviously a guy like James White as well, who should have been probably the Super Bowl MVP. I think Tom Brady won it that year. I think James White had 3 or 4 touchdowns. He offers you something different, a nice wrinkle, a great receiving threat, and defenses have to account for those type of guys.
So do you think specifically those guys or guys like that?
No,
because those guys are a little long in the tooth.
No, I'm just saying guys like that.
Okay,
Like we think it's Tevin Coleman, James White, and Duke Johnson. You think wide receiver first over, pounding the rock per se.
Yeah. And now listen, they might like a Zigbo too, and a guy that can still pound it.
Yeah.
It'll depend how they evaluate. Baalke didn't answer that part of it very much. Like, how do they evaluate the guys they already have in the room? And what we really don't know is like a guy like Raquel Armstead. It's still a mystery of how he's doing after his bout with COVID-19.
Yeah.
And if he'll even play football again. So there's some interesting things to watch. But I do think that running back room is pretty wild to see exactly what way they'll go with their offense. It's not going to be super revealing, but I think it give you a bit of an indication, and I like that. Urban Meyer is coming out with a new slogan. We'll share it with you. It's the mantra of this year's football team. Do you like it or not? We go there, plus free agency. What's the latest news out of the NFL? And the salary cap has been set. How much does it help the Jags? All on the way. We're live at Sawgrass Country Club. Our Players Championship Week live coverage brought to you by Talon Wealth Management right here on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert Forecast on ESPN 690.
Another nice day today under mostly sunny skies. A little bit warmer this afternoon. Reached the low 70s. Cooler at the beaches. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 at Fox 30. Action News Jax from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where right now you can get 5 years, 0-interest financing with nothing down.
We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look, a bit more of a deeper dive, and it might have done the same for you, even into the world of retirement. Although that's a bit down the road for me, it might be closer for you, and your plan should already be under a microscope, and you have to lean on the experts to help guide the right plan. My friend Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management is the perfect partner. He will provide a complimentary analysis and a plan for you. Call him at 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. That's 904-515-5000 or guardingyournestegg.com. Mike will give you the guidance you need as retirement gets closer. He can help you convert company plans to private plans, a move that might give you higher returns and more options. You've earned the money. Now make sure you are ready for whenever retirement will be. Call Mike Lester at Talon Wealth Management, 904-515-5000. That's 904-515-5000. Or visit guardingyournestegg.com. CGC Water has been telling you if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Still not a believer? Well, you can believe me. My family has been a happy CGC Water customer for 4 years now. Customer service is tremendous. We got our water tested. We were told about our options in financing in detail. No pressure, just information. Installation was quick, and the CGC team was there every step of the way. And we absolutely love it because it works. Heck, I even think my coffee tastes better because of it. And I love my coffee. A Kinetico system from CGC Water removes up to 99% of contaminants. That's clean. Schedule your free water test today and ask how you can save up to $500. CGC is still taking extra precautions with in-home visits and continuing to follow CDC guidelines. Financing available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 for details or visit cgcwater.com. Serving Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer. We all know what the most important meal of the day is, and now it's the most awesome. Moe's Southwest Grill St. Augustine is now serving up breakfast burritos and bowls in their drive-thru. The fluffy eggs, shredded cheese, grilled steak and chicken, and salsa if you choose. They're all available in the AM, so you can swing by the Moe's drive-thru on your way to work. No more cold cereal and oatmeal at your desk, just convenient breakfasty goodness. office, getting ready to be the coolest kid at the office. Welcome to Moe's.
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. From complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
Do you know what it takes to be a successful business owner? If so, share your advice with someone who is eager to learn from your experience. As the nation's premier organization supporting small businesses, SCORE is always looking for people willing to offer their time and expertise to mentor current or aspiring entrepreneurs. We need volunteers from all areas of business, including accounting, finance, human resources, sales and marketing, as well as legal. If you're interested in joining our team, click on the volunteer tab at jacksonville.score.org.
Ready, set, go to Arlington Toyota today. It's the Ready, Set, Go sales event starting now, which means it's your time to save on over 400 new Toyotas on the lot at Arlington Toyota. Right now at Arlington, take your pick. A new 2021 Corolla LE or a new 2021 Camry LE. You choose. 0 down or buy for just $249 a month. This is a purchase, not a lease. It's the Ready, Set, Go sales event at Arlington Toyota. Shop safely in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/March for full details.
How do you measure the depth of your sadness? What number of arguments is too many? How do you count your sleepless nights? Don't. Count on DuPont Counseling Group at Jewish Family and Community Services instead. Our professional counselors can assist with everything from depression to relationships to children's issues. Trust DuPont Counseling Group to help you navigate life's challenges better. Jewish Family and Community Services. Here for mental health. Here for Jags. Learn more at hereforjags.com.
Action Sports Jacks will be live from the Players Championship Wednesday through Friday. Listen for exclusive interviews and updates from the course. Hear Action Sports Jacks from 3 until 6 p.m. from the Players Championship, sponsored by Talon Wealth Management on ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Brent Martineau.
Never heard of what happened in Iowa yesterday, and I don't even know how to pronounce the name of it. Derecho.
Austin Lane.
Iowa State Cyclones. Should call them the Derechos. You can shorten it up, call them the Chos. Why not, man? I'm into it.
Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
We're looking at a lot of different positions and a lot of different players, and the key word there, Gene, was value. We're looking for value. That isn't always the most expensive player. There's all different levels of like, right? When we say we like a player, you know, to what level and what value do we place on them? So that's going to be critical as we build this team out moving forward, is making sure we get the value of the position and the player correct.
Baalke, the Jaguars GM, speaking with the media today, a day after Urban Meyer talked with the media too. Urban Meyer says, own it. He just talked to the Jaguars folks inside their building, tweeted the picture out, and it said, own it, on the big boards at TIAA Bank Field. He also continues to use 904 instead of Duval.
Yeah.
Brent Martineau here at Sawgrass Country Club. Our Players Championship coverage brought to you by Talon Wealth Management. We are here because of the All-Star Kids Clinic that Paul Tesori and his wife Michelle are putting on. Paul, a caddy for 2018 Players Champ Webb Simpson. Bubba Watson will be here. Brittany Lincecum will be here. Webb will be here. So a pretty cool day out here at Sawgrass Country Club right across the street. Initial home in this area of the Players Championship back in 1977 through 1981. Austin Lane back in the Action Sports Shack studios. You okay with own it? Are you okay with 904 if the coach says that instead of Duval?
Wow, Brent. One thing at a time, please. So, first of all, I think the more important one, changing Duval to 904, I don't know how I feel about that, man. I always felt like Duval was the tradition. It's what made Jacksonville and the Jaguars the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think that it's a brand that is known really around the country and really around the world, if you will. And I think when you make it 904, it's a little cliche. I don't know. To me, Duval was just special. It's what we chanted before the game in the huddles. It's what the crowd would chant to give us a little extra energy when I played. And to go away from that and just to go to 904, I'm not a fan, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, what's interesting about that is I think Urban Meyer has a lot of power around here. He has an ability really to change the direction of this franchise, the way people feel about this franchise. If he does that, he can call it whatever the heck he wants to call it, quite frankly, I think.
Yeah.
Even fans will admit that. But I don't know if Urban has the power to change Duval, okay? Fans are going to call it that. Fans probably aren't going to jump in line at 9:04. I think the fans will bow up a little bit. Listen, there are hats and there are things that say 9:04 anyway. A lot of cities have that. But I just don't know if Urban is going to change the course of what's being said. This was a fan-designed, fan-orchestrated thing. This wasn't something that the organization kind of put out there and said, all right, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to call it. Well, yeah, sure. They wrapped their arms around it at times, and they pushed it, and their Twitter handle said it, and a lot of their game day stuff did it. I hope they don't take away that, because that's part of the fan experience. That's part of what the fans want. You can try to throw in this 9:04 and the rest of it, but I think the Duval will exist, and I think the fans will keep that strong.
Yeah, and I understand what's happening here, right? Urban Meyer's the new sheriff in town, let's just say. He's changing a lot of things, and that's great. There's going to be a new way of doing things here in Jacksonville, and hopefully with that means a new tradition, and that tradition means winning. And I'm all for all of that stuff. And it's important to have goals, and it's important to take this team to a new stratosphere for the fan base. But sometimes you can't forget where you come from, and you can't forget what those things mean. And Duval, to me, it's history. It's what the team is known for. So I'm all for taking a new direction, but you still have to respect the past and where you came from. And I feel like if you switch it from Duval to 9:04, you kind of lose that tradition a little bit, and that's something that you need here in Jacksonville as well.
By the way, this happens a lot in business. This happens in our business. When things don't work, or it's got kind of this stale thing, or it's associated with not doing well, people try to flush it, get rid of it. And this might be like what Urban's thinking, what he's trying to do with it. I don't know if it's going to work. Like I said, I think this is a fan-preached trademark, if you will. And I think that's what will stay here in Jacksonville.
Listen, like the Cleveland Browns, a.k.a. the Factory of Sadness, it's not like they changed the dog pound all of a sudden because they were losing all the time because they're known for losing. It's because it's known for tradition. It reminds you that you were here for the hard times, and you're going to stick by that. You're not going to turn your back on it. So that's what I feel about Duval as well. Like, yeah, the past decade, it sucked here. But at the same time, you're trying to overcome that. You're trying to move past that, and you're not going to forget the whole Duval thing. So, I mean, as far as the chant, as far as the hashtags, like, in my opinion, you can't get rid of that. There's too much there. There's too much love there from the fan base, and I don't think they should get rid of it.
It'll be the evolution of it. It'll be fun to watch. We'll see what happens to it in 3 years, 5 years, what it's like around here. And I think a lot of that has to do with wins and losses and how much Urban can shape that. What about Own It? You all right with that? I mean, we've had All In before. We've had, Be Bold, or I don't even know what we've had in the past. But Own It is the new one, and that's fine, right? Accountability, and it doesn't bother me.
No. Listen, I think when you use the phrase "own it," I mean that can talk to it can talk to a lot of people. It can talk to the fan base. Obviously, it talks to the players. It talks to the coaches. It really talks to the whole city. So no, I have no problem with "own it" as well. I'm very curious to see how that's going to get used in social media and on all the advertising and things like that. But no, I have no problem with "own it."
All right, let's get Jack in here early on in the show. We got a lot of things to get to today. Might have some guests pop in along the way. So let's get Jack hanging on the line. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. What's happening, man?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw the video that Dilla tweeted this morning of Trent Williams pretty much glowing about Trevor Lawrence and where the Jaguars are headed. If you haven't, you should definitely check it out. But I was wondering, so with Cam Robinson tagged, what do you guys think the chances are that they still test the waters and go after Trent? And let's say if they got him, they would have the idea that they can try to move Cam.
Yeah, good question, Jack. Thanks, man. Who's Dilla, by the way?
I don't know, Brent. You sent that to us this morning in a text message, so you better know who he is if you don't remember.
That's who. Is that who tweeted that?
Yeah, I think so. No, I spoke about this yesterday, where I would definitely still pursue Trent Williams. I think anybody, listen, people understand how good of a quarterback Trevor Lawrence is. Despite what some of the draft experts might say about Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence is the dude. And it was cool hearing Trent Williams talk about him. I'm absolutely for bringing Trent Williams in if you have to, because once again, like we talked about yesterday, he is an upgrade from Cam Robinson. No ands, ifs, buts about it. So if you're going to bring Trent Williams in, then keep in mind you're still paying Cam Robinson a pretty good amount of money this year. I can see them moving Cam Robinson to guard or some other position just to make room for Trent Williams. So absolutely, I think the more you can upgrade, the better.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. I really don't. I just don't think when you just put $14 million on Cam Robinson, you're going to go spend another $18 million to bring in a guy like Trent Williams. I just don't see it happening. Now, what Trent Williams said today in that tweet, and he was on a conversation with Richard Sherman and asked about, I think, QB play and rebuilding, and Kuz has is going to play in a moment. I think this is very interesting because this is an outside perspective of the Jaguars organization. And here's instantaneously what a guy like Trevor Lawrence can do. Trevor Lawrence already changing the perception, not necessarily Urban Meyer. Trevor Lawrence changing the perception, at least from players around the league. This is a veteran guy in Trent Williams who's seen a lot, who's performed at a very high level. Listen to what he had to say about the Jaguars and rebuild versus kind of a ready-to-go load.
That team is ahead of the curve because getting a quarterback is by far the hardest thing to accomplish in the NFL. So any team right now that has a quarterback that we can pencil in as day one starter, I think you can't really call that a rebuild process because you got the main piece in place, right? If you don't have a quarterback, it's like, who knows how long it'll take to get a Trevor Lawrence or, like these guys aren't just growing on trees. They're not accessible every draft. So I think like a quarterback like Trevor Lawrence, I mean, as a rookie, I think he's not going to be like playing with a normal rookie quarterback. I think the type of player he is ahead of the curve, and I think he will be. I think he'll be a dynamic player at the next level. Just because he has escapability when things don't add up with his eyes, he can use his legs. So I do think like a Jacksonville, people could look at them as a rebuild, but with them getting a quarterback, I think that could expedite their success level, and their success rate. What I say, like flushing everybody out last few years and getting rid of a lot of contracts that was coming, a lot of contracts they took on, getting the draft, flexibility in the draft, So you look at that, like that, they went through the rebuild. So now they're about to reap the benefit.
Well, that's Trent Williams talking, and there you get the idea of it. I think there's something big right there, Austin, from a perception standpoint. First of all, this is a player around the league. I always think guys know what good is, right? I say it all the time. Well, this guy thinks Trevor Lawrence is pretty darn good. So there's your first. Everybody does. But this guy thinks he's pretty darn good from what he's seen, at least on tape. He's never been a teammate of his or anything like that, but he likes what he sees. And just that one guy just punches home the exclamation point, man, on what this quarterback could do for this franchise, for this city, for everything involved. I think it already starts with a guy like Trent Williams and the way he looks at it. Now, in this whole conversation that you just heard, was there any politicking and lobbying to say, Jacksonville, I know you have a lot of money. Share some of it with me.
No, listen, there very well could be. Any left tackle or any offensive lineman, for that matter, wants to play with a great quarterback. And I think Trent Williams thinks that Trevor Lawrence is a great quarterback, and you know how we feel about it. I think we couldn't agree with him more. So when you have a situation like the Jaguars and you have a lot of money, and you want to look to upgrade spots, like Trent Williams isn't an idiot, all right? He's been around the league for a while. He knows exactly what's going on right now. So to me, him kind of putting that in the airwaves and hyping up Jacksonville a little bit, to me, that's contract negotiations right there. That's saying, hey, Jacksonville, I'm a little interested. How deep are your pockets? And then in doing so, if they offer him a deal, well, then what is that agent going to tell every other team in the NFL? Well, Jax will offer my client this much money. What do you guys got? I think it's a valuable, it's a genius move by Trent Williams. Now, maybe I'm looking too far into it, but I don't think I am. I think Trent Williams is making a play right now to try to get as much money as possible, as he should.
Yeah, I think so, too. I think there's a little bit of that going on, but we've now heard Allen Robinson and now Trent Williams, players in this league, good players in this league, say positive things about Trevor Lawrence associated with the Jacksonville Jaguars. You've been concerned about this over the years, right? The perception of the Jags nationally. I'm telling you, it's starting to change already, instantaneously, because of the quarterback, because of what player he could be. There's a lot that has to be done, but I think fans like that. There's no reason not to like that. that perception could be changing a little bit. Let's get South Beach Gary in real quick before we hit a break, and we might have some guests on coming in soon. So, South Beach Gary, what's up, man?
Good afternoon, guys. I'll try to be quick. I'm going to pick John Rahm. I don't know why, but I picked John Rahm for the Players. He's just a name that popped in my head for this week, and
not a bad one.
He's been a little quiet lately. So I saw on the Dolphins website that they're both interested in the Green Bay free agent center Lindsley. How does he strike you, Brenner? Would you be interested in Lindsley as a
The
Jag?
center from Green Bay.
Center?
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, they need to, if you're talking about the Dolphins specifically, South Beach Gary, they need to beef up the offensive line. So, yeah, I mean, I think any of these guys that are talking, people think he was the best center last year. And so if they go after and spend some money, they got to spend some money around their franchise quarterback now too, or whatever move they could make when it comes to a quarterback. So, yeah, I think that would make a lot of sense. They spent so much money on the defensive side of the football. They probably should spend some on the offensive side to protect Tua and get that offense cooking a little bit. All right, let's take a timeout here from Sawgrass Country Club. Could have some guests lined up soon. Bubba Watson might stop by. Brittany Lincecum might stop by. We'll talk to Paul Tesori along the way today. Webb Simpson could stop by, 2018 Players Champ. So we hit a break. We come back. We talk some more football. We talk a little golf. Players Championship Week, Sawgrass Country Club. We are live, and our live coverage this Players Week brought to you by Talon Wealth Management right here at Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
Happy Wednesday. I'm Jake Mitchell. NFL free agency starts 1 week from today, and the Jags are getting a jump on things by franchise tagging O-lineman Cam Robinson. Speaking of free agency, here's Urban Meyer on how he plans to handle his very first one in the NFL.
It's not recruiting, and I understand the difference, but free agency to me is a labor-intensive proposition. That means that the hardest working, the deepest digging staffs, a lot like recruiting, they get the best player. Position coach is going to have a heavy hand on who comes in there, yet Trent and his staff obviously are the number one resource we use.
Trent is GM Trent Baalke. Elsewhere in the NFL, the Bears blocked a potential reunion for the Jags and Allen Robinson by placing their franchise tag on him. And in college hoops, congrats go out to Gonzaga because both their men's and women's team won their WCC tournaments. The Sports Center Update is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
They just don't make them like they used to. People say that a lot, and sometimes it's true, but not for air conditioners. Manufacturers actually make them better than they used to. It's just that local AC companies don't install them like they ought to. Old school rules of thumb and yesterday's shortcuts simply sabotage new school systems. Can new technology give you more comfort with longer service life? Only if the AC tech knows how to properly engineer it for your home and how to install it right. So techs that don't understand inverters, low voltage controls, and how to configure the software, dip switches, and refrigerant charge for Florida humidity, they'll totally turn it into turd buckets, especially if they just do a swap the box install without fixing your ductwork and airflow. My point, the better the technology, the more important the install. At Griffin Service, we fix what others can't, but it's best to have us install it right from the beginning. So if your new system ain't working right or your old one needs replacing, call
GriffinService.com.
1250-697.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's been 6 months since my wife leased her new Cadillac from Fields Auto Group, and she absolutely loves it. It's our first experience with Fields, and it's been terrific. They say you can step up to luxury for less, and we did. Not just a luxury Cadillac XT6. The car is beautiful, but the customer service is extra special too. It was like that at Fields Cadillac Jacksonville, and it will be like that at any of the Fields locations in Jacksonville. Cadillac, of course, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche as well. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. We are now part of that Fields Amenities program, and my wife tried the loaner program. It was easy and a nice added benefit. So whatever you're driving, see Fields and step up to luxury for less. Check out their locations all around Jacksonville, just like we did. You can go visit fieldsauto.com.
Saying goodbye to a loved one is never easy. Hi, I'm Larry Self, owner of The Casket Store. For the past 20 years, we've been helping people plan ahead with affordable options and quality products. Often people are caught by surprise and in the midst of their grief end up paying much more for the exact same casket. We offer cemetery headstones, bronze markers, caskets, urns, and more at 40 to 70% off standard funeral prices. Please visit us at thecasketstore.com.
Life is complicated. We all know it, and all can use the proper support system. You know what else can be complicated? Owning a home. And that's why Rex was built to go beyond the simple real estate transaction. Full-service agents for buying and selling, mortgage services, insurance quotes, escrow and title, even home repair, all one call away. I guess you could call Rex your home support system and not a typical brokerage. Call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. Want more? Of course you do. With all that convenience comes reduced fees too. In fact, the average Rex homeowner saves over $10,000 when buying and selling a home. Want to get started? It's never too soon. Call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. 833-739-4663. Florida license number CQ1057788. For further licensing disclosures, please visit rexhomes.com.
What is TV's biggest night of guessing games? There's only one answer: Fox Wednesday. Yeah! First, The Masked Singer returns with a new season that will totally change the game.
How many people are in this costume? 2? 12?
Then, can you guess someone's talent before you see them perform?
Scorpion Wrangler!
Fire thrower! Lock it in! It's the spectacular premiere of Game of Talents, hosted by Wayne Brady.
Show us your talent!
Right after The Masked Singer season premiere. Fox tonight.
Shred your goals this year with the new Metabolism Boost Banana Passion Fruit Smoothie from Smoothie King. At only 240 calories and 14 grams of protein per 20 ounces, this crave-controlling meal smoothie has non-GMO whole fruits, naturally derived caffeine, and absolutely no syrups. Or try strawberry pineapple or mango ginger. Start your healthier habit and order online at smoothieking.com. Now for pickup or delivery at any of the Jacksonville area locations. Smoothie King, rule the day.
I'm Elfrida Boney, founder and CEO of Perfectly Suited Career Consulting. I'm proud to be a Jags Chamber member and to serve on the advisory board of the Jacksonville Women's Business Center. The JWBC is innovating and adapting, embracing the digital transformation to serve more women in Northeast Florida. For example, we are launching the Network of Trust program that will mentor and vet female business owners, preparing them to take the next step as a company. For more information, visit JacksChamberFoundation.org.
Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau. Social distancing doesn't mean disconnecting. If you're working from home or just steering clear of coworkers, keep tabs on the world of sports and Action Sports Jax on your smart speaker. Tell your Amazon Echo or Google Home to play ESPN 690. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to Sawgrass Country Club. Paul and Michelle Tesori putting on their All-Star Kids Clinic, and it's happening behind us. It just kicks off at 4 o'clock. Bubba Watson will be out here. Webb Simpson's out here. Brittany Lincecum from the LPGA Tour out here as well, and she joins us right now on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. You just tell me a cool story. Hello, by the way, and hope you're doing well. That you don't really even know Michelle and Paul. Well, you're Facebook friends with Michelle. She says, hey, you want to come up and help out? You said sure thing, and here you are.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, all she had to say was it was a kids clinic, and I was more than happy to come up. Obviously, we have an off week this week, and it's only about a 4-hour drive for me to come up. So my husband and I said yes, and here we are. And it looks like so much fun. There's so many kids. We have Dunkin' Donuts. There's a gorilla over there. I mean, yeah. It looks amazing.
Our producer, we have video feed here too, and our producer said that gorilla looks a little scary. I said, come on, man. It does not. It looks kind of fun.
It looks really fun.
How are you doing in your golf game? You got a little break here, and then you just told me you'll be out to California. with the pandemic, COVID? I mean, how has this last year been for you?
It's been interesting. You know, we have a 20-month-old daughter now, so I was kind of on maternity, had her, took some time off, and then COVID, and then trying to get back to a little bit last season. So it's nice to kind of get back in the groove of things. Like you said, we have 2 weeks off, and then we kind of start up again in San Diego, and then we have our first major of the year, the ANA Inspiration. So it's going to be nice to get back into a rhythm again. There was a lot of off weeks last year, a lot of ups and downs, and I feel like my game is great. I finished the season strong, started pretty well, felt pretty good about my game, but these off weeks are really killing me. I can't wait to get back in a rhythm and play like week after week after week.
Well, how's playing, or at least getting ready to play and being a mom? I mean, how is that juggling? We've seen now some world-class athletes like yourself try to pull this off, be able to do it. Serena Williams now comes to mind. Is that a tough thing? Is it a fun thing?
It's definitely different, especially those nights where Miss Emery doesn't want to sleep in her pack and play at night and ends up in bed with me and I have an early tea time. But it's just one of those things. You just roll with it, and I wouldn't change it for the world. She's so great when she comes out and watches me play. You know, if I'm having a bad day, I just kind of glance over at her and she just, you know, puts it all in perspective again. And she's the best. She'll walk 18 holes of golf with me. My mom and dad travel, so they're great. So she can watch me play all 18 holes, and she doesn't make a peep. She loves it. When I make a good shot, she claps for me.
That's awesome.
It's really awesome.
That's really cool. You know, you're so golf-centric for so long in your life. Your passion, right? You're working toward the goal. You're 8-time winner on the LPGA Tour, I believe it is. Do you lose any of the hunger, the thirst, that passion when you have a little one? I mean, is that a little bit natural to kind of say, okay, it's not all about me anymore?
You know, I really thought once I had her that it would kind of change those when you're really in a bad mood or you're just not playing well, that you would just kind of forget about it a little bit easier, which it definitely has, but there's still something about wanting to compete at the highest level and wanting to win that, you know, I still put a lot of pressure on myself to perform at my best every week, and if I don't do that, then I kind of get down. But she definitely, you know, kind of brings me back and again puts it all in perspective and makes my day so much better whether I had a good day on the golf course or not.
One thing about the golf world, whether it's on the men's side, the women's side, it's certainly a lot of this, isn't it? Giving back, and like we just told your story about not even really a long relationship with the Tesoris, but to help out, to give back. I'm sure you do a lot of it in South Florida as well. That you always go back to that, it seems like, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I remember being a junior golfer back in the day and how expensive it was for my parents to be able to put me through golf. So to be able to help for an hour or 2 hours here today for these kids, you know, it might change their life. It might make them want to become professional golfers one day. Or, you know, I see the First Tee is out here as well. I'm on the board of our First Tee, and we have an event every year. So I would never want to not have a child have the opportunity to play this wonderful game. So we try to do as much as we can for the kids and give back our time. And it's just so wonderful to see so many kids coming out today.
Now you have to bug Webb and Paul and everybody else because you've played TPC Sawgrass, but you just told me you only played 9 holes and it was the front 9. And by the way, it's a great front 9. But if you're going to play TPC Sawgrass, you got to play the back 9. We got to get you back up here to do that.
That would be wonderful. Yeah, I wish, you know, it was raining the day we played, and I get to play a lot of golf. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to come back, and that was years ago now, and I still haven't made it back. So I wish I would have played at least number 17, but I didn't. So I'm going to have to come back.
How much of a fan are you of golf in general, of the men and watching their tournaments when you can watch of this tournament, the players? I mean, that's an iconic 17th hole.
Yep.
It's an iconic golf tournament. Will you be watching?
Oh, absolutely. Especially we have a week off. It's a little bit harder when I'm on the road, obviously, with my daughter, kind of watching her and watching golf. You know, I tried to watch last week when the men were at concession because I'm a member there as well. So I was hoping they hit it in some spots that I find myself going into. But it's going to be great this week. Webb and I played junior golf together. I haven't really seen him much since then. So it's great to kind of hang out with him today. And I always cheer for him, obviously, every week. And Bubba's here. So I don't know if he's going to be able to hit any drives for us, but that's always fun to see.
Yes,
but, you know, when I'm home and I have nothing, you know, no tournaments going on, I love watching golf. And just kind of, you learn so much from whether it's men's golf, women's golf. You know, I love how their hands are so soft, especially chipping and putting around the greens, always trying to pick up something.
Brittany Lincecum with us, LPGA player, and she's with us here at Sawgrass Country Club. Paul and Michelle Tesori's All-Star Kids Clinic underway. Last question for you. You just mentioned driving the golf ball. The women are driving it a mile. I think it's associated with the men and Bryson and Bubba and the rest. You're driving it a mile. The women in general are.
Mm-hmm.
How much has that changed on the women's side?
More so when I was 21, and now that I'm 35, it doesn't go quite as far. But I think, Tiger did it, Annika did it, just changing the game of, working out more, stretching more, having proper equipment fit to you. And I've always hit the ball far. Since I started playing the game when I was 9, I played with my brothers and my dad, so I had to hit it far to keep up with them. So I love hitting it far, and, the girls are definitely doing that now, and it's great to see.
Still a little nice flex when you play in a Pro-Am and drive it by a guy?
That's the best.
Awesome. Brittany Lincecum, good luck the rest of the way. Thanks for stopping by here to support this cause and to stopping by Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Thank you.
Good luck the rest of the way. Brittany Lincecum, LPGA Tour player, 8-time winner on the tour, and she will drive it by you, no doubt about it. We'll be back. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690, live from Sawgrass Country Club.
Firefighters, paramedics, police officers, they take care of us, and at AMCO, we're proud to take care of them. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. As an essential business, we work on every kind of car repair with flexible financing and extra safety precautions. Essential, reliable, trusted. That's the men and women who are there for us, and it's our honor to be there for them. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
Do you know a child who is deaf, hard of hearing, blind, or visually impaired? The Florida School for the Deaf and Blind in St. Augustine offers a tuition-free educational program to prepare the child for a lifetime of success. FSDB offers free comprehensive education, transportation, and boarding services at no cost to all eligible deaf or blind students, elementary through high school, no matter where the student lives in Florida. Call 800-344-3737 or log on to www.fsdbk12.org to learn more.
I should have my kid tell you about Jumpin' Jack's House of Food. It's Ty's favorite burger in town. Make it one of your favorites as well. Jumpin' Jack's House of Food has 3 locations now, Atlantic Beach, Mandarin, and downtown Jacksonville. Change your life burgers. But they have salads, pizza, and much more on the menu, too. Let Jumpin' Jack's House of Food be your great neighbor. Lunch or dinner with the family, or they will cater parties from 200 to 500 people. Jumpin' Jack's, HOF.com for online ordering. Jumpin' Jack's House of Food, open 7 days a week.
I'm Glenn Levine, a board-certified civil trial lawyer. That means the Florida bars recognize me as an expert in the field of civil trial. As a trial lawyer, I'm trained to investigate every aspect of your case. If you've been involved in a legal dispute and are not sure of your options, call me, Glenn Levine, at the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation. And take back control of your life. Office in Jacksonville.
Need ammo? Then grab your friends and come to the gun show. Get them while you still can. Hundreds of guns, knives, and more with concealed carry classes daily. USA Gun Shows is coming to the Ramona Pavilion in Jacksonville this Saturday and Sunday. Follow USA Gun Shows on Facebook and online at usagunshows.com.
We are the entertainment you love and information that shapes your day. We are your lifeline. We are your companion. We are broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on your local radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
O'Reilly. This is Jesse's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
As a nurse, not making it to work was not an option. But driving through the snow with my wiper blades struggling, I just didn't feel safe. So I pulled into O'Reilly Auto Parts, and before I knew it, an employee was offering to install the wiper blades on my car. I got to stay out of the snow for a moment, and I still made it to work on time.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's time for some straight talk. Your tax return could look different this year, but you're still going to hear a lot of noise about how to spend it. So when the big carriers tell you to splurge on the latest nonsense, just tune it out. With Straight Talk, you can get a Samsung Galaxy A51 for just $199. Plus, get the $45 unlimited talk, text, and data plan with no contract on America's best networks for up to 50% less. Tune out the nonsense and tune in to Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Mike Greenberg. Greeny.
The biggest difference between the athletes of today and the athlete of Shaquille O'Neal's generation
is Twitter. And with Twitter in particular, social media in general, but with Twitter in particular, the generation of athletes who grew up in that consider it to be important enough that they do not ignore it. They hear it, they live it, they respond to it, they internalize it. It matters to them.
Greeny with Mike Greenberg. Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio. And watch exclusively on ESPN+.
The Max Kellerman Show.
The Nets started out the season without James Harden, who's their second best player, and then have played recently without Kevin Durant, who's their best player. Also, when Kyrie joined the team, he and Harden had to figure things out. There was an adjustment period. And so the Nets' record does not reflect, their entire record does not reflect the team they've become.
The Max Kellerman Show, weekdays at 2 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Watch exclusively on ESPN+.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from Action Sports Jax and ESPN 690. Social distancing doesn't mean disconnecting. If you're working from home, keep tabs on the world of sports and Action Sports Jax on your smart speaker. Tell your Amazon Echo or Google Home, play ESPN 690.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. The Panthers restructure the contracts of both running back Christian McCaffrey and linebacker Shaq Thompson. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports those moves will clear more than $11 million in cap space. Dak Prescott gets his new deal with the Cowboys, but Schefter says there are still other quarterbacks in limbo.
The question is Seattle going to actually trade Russell Wilson? I don't think so far we've heard Seattle come out and say, we are not trading our quarterback. Have you heard that from anybody there yet? I have not.
Adam Schefter on Key J and Z. Here's a first in the Big East. 3 players will share in the Player of the Year award. Villanova's Jeremiah Robinson-Earl and Colin Gillespie, along with Seton Hall's Sandro Mamukelashvili, tied in the voting of league coaches. Reds first baseman Joey Votto goes on the injured list for an indefinite period after testing positive for COVID-19. Germany's Thomas Bach wins re-election as president of the International Olympic Committee for another 4-year term.
With no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, and an app that lets you bank anytime, anywhere, choosing Capital One is like the easiest decision in the history of decisions. That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
I didn't attend the pro day. You know, right now with the restrictions, you can have 3 staff members from each organization attend. And I felt that it was very important to get the head coach, the offensive coordinator, and the quarterback coach to that workout. I've had the privilege of seeing him play multiple times. So for us as an organization to prioritize our coaching staff being there, I thought was instrumental and very important.
That is Jaguars general manager Trent Baalke talking today to the media. And again, not super revealing, but it's good to hear from the Jags brass a week ahead of the free agency. And we'll see exactly where that goes and what direction. Again, less revealing today, a little bit more revealing yesterday with Urban Meyer, the head coach of the Jags. Brent Martineau back here at Sawgrass Country Club. We are at the Paul and Michelle Tesori All-Star Kids Clinic. It's just getting underway. We had Brittany Lincecum come on just a short time ago. Bubba Watson and Webb Simpson about to join us here in just a few. We'll talk some football, and then we might interrupt it to try to get these guys on. Right now they're addressing the crowd, and so we're just juggling commercial breaks and their time to get them on for a few minutes here during Players Championship Week. Our live coverage from the Players Championship this week brought to you by Talon Wealth Management. Brent Martineau here, Austin Lane back in the studios. I'm probably juggling your eating time right now. Austin.
No, man, you're all good because, it's kind of the easy part of the week anyway, so it's not like I got to eat at a certain time to get ready for my training because obviously my training's going to be pretty easy this year. So we're all good, man. Don't worry about it.
You eat more or less this week?
Probably a little more because it's kind of like a carb loading phase. So my secret is pretzels. I eat a lot of pretzels, actually.
Really?
Yeah. Because, they're pretty easy snack food and they have a lot of carbs to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good deal.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk some football for a few minutes before we get these guys on. Who do you want in free agency now? We know Leonard Williams isn't available. Allen Robinson, Chris Godwin, those guys all got tagged. We know Hunter Henry exists out there potentially. Now, listen, these guys could get re-signed by their respective teams. Jonnu Smith looks like you said it's a free agency. I think those are two guys that we clearly both said yesterday. It'll feel like the Jags lost free agency if they don't get one of them. So we'll rule those guys out for now. On your target board, like where does your board go? After Leonard Williams, after the tight ends, like, is there a position that you see has some depth that you think the Jags can really get help in? Or is there now more of a player potential target in terms of spending some big bucks on him?
Yeah, so it's interesting, right? Because before I answer that question, you got to bring up the point that Baalke made in his press conference today, and he mentioned the word value, I think, a couple times.
He did.
And we've seen value when he was in San Francisco. And what I mean by that is when guys had, major knee injuries, he would bring them in on a discount, obviously. Because obviously if a guy's coming off a major surgery, there is some value there because usually they drop in the draft or they're not that coveted in free agency. So that term value really stood out to me a lot. And when you think about value, and you brought this guy up yesterday a little bit, I think Will Fuller would be a value pick. I think John Brown coming out of Buffalo, who's a speedster who just got released, who's one of probably the fastest receivers in the NFL, I think that could be a quote-unquote value pick. Now, I'm not saying those are the right guys because you know how I feel about Will Fuller, but I thought it was interesting today that one of the key phrases I took away from that press conference was the term value.
Yeah, that's a good call, man. And what does value mean can be interpreted a couple different ways. And, I was thinking about you as a player during this when I was listening to that because I don't know if guys, during free agency especially, I feel like, and this is disrespectful to the player, but this is kind of like, it's like a commodity, It's like you get put in this like column where, okay, is that a good buy at the grocery store?
Sure, sure.
Those are the comps we make. We're talking about real people here, folks. We're talking about real lives.
Yeah.
And so where does that value lie? And often people value themselves more than somebody else might value the team or the buyer. And I think that what the Jags do here sets the table in a lot of ways. Sure, they have a lot of money. The cap's down to 182. The Jags have advantage of that because they have plenty. Other teams are cutting guys. Kenny Vaccaro gets cut by the Titans today because they have to shave dollars. They might lose good players they want to keep. Mm-hmm. The Jags are not in that position. It's an enviable position. But how much they spend, what kind of player they go after, what kind of risk they go after in terms of age, in terms of injury, in terms of personality traits. I think this is a really going to be a fun watch to see what Urban especially is thinking, what Shad Khan's signing off on, and what Trent Baalke and his staff are bringing to the table, Austin.
Without a doubt. And we talked about this a lot lately, in terms of priorities of free agency, it's got to start at the defensive tackle position. Urban Meyer even said it himself. You want to start in the trenches on defense and work your way out. And I believe that. I say this all the time. I think the game of football, regardless of how pass-oriented it is now, is still won and lost in the trenches. So when we talk about the trenches, we talked about a guy like Dalvin Tomlinson out of the Giants, who can definitely stop the run, seems to play with a little bit of a mean streak, fits that Joe Cullen mode, and in my opinion, what Joe Cullen is looking for. Also, Urban Meyer alluded to the fact that he's going to trust his position coaches or his coordinators to bring guys in. Well, there's going to be a lot of guys coming from Baltimore that have a lot of experience with some players from Baltimore. Matthew Judon is a guy who is a free agent right now. Didn't get his contract that he wanted. I think he's a free agent now officially, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Well, he will be in March.
He will be,
as
yeah.
the season starts. Yeah.
Because then he's a franchise taking him in Baltimore. Now, is he a necessity? Well, you have K'Lavon Chaisson, obviously Josh Allen. They've already spoke his praises. But Matthew Judon's a guy I can see that they bring in just for a depth perspective or maybe starting over Chaisson right away until Chaisson gets more comfortable because, once again, a lot of those guys know who Matthew Judon is.
How many guys do you need at that outside rusher spot? Does it change at all? Like when I think 4-3 scheme and I think pass rusher, you could have 4 of those guys that you'd love. Not many teams do. You have 2 that you love, and maybe you have solid backups. Even Houston in those years, right? They were running Watt out there, at times Merciless and Clowney out there, and probably others I'm missing. And it was a nice trio of rushers that you have. You want depth. The whole thing is you want 8 along the way. So is that the same thing with these outside backers, or do you need as much depth in terms of waves? Will they split playing time as much, do you think? Like, is it good to have, say, a Judon, an Allen, and a Chason, or will somebody be complaining about playing time?
No, I mean, somebody might be complaining about playing time, but keep in mind, in a 3-4 defense, and this isn't going to apply to maybe Chason or even Judon if Judon was to come here, but usually the way it works in carrying a roster is if you go with a true 3-4 defense, you need a lot more linebackers in terms of special teams and things like that, because keep in mind, you carry an extra defensive tackle or defensive end because now you have 3 guys instead of 2, right? In a base package of a 4-3 defense, you have 2 defensive tackles and 2 defensive ends. Well, now you need 3 defensive tackles out there at the field at the same time when we're talking about a 3-4 defense. So it kind of changed up your roster a little bit. So there will be more linebackers here. And from a depth position, when you are worried about getting to the pass rusher, I mean, base packages, let's be honest here, you're probably in for 30%, maybe 35%. So they're going to have their NASCAR packages. They're going to have their exotic blitzes. And that's when, Judon, Chason, and Josh Allen can all find themselves in the field at the same time, because I think last time I checked, Matthew Judon's kind of a big-bodied guy. I want to say he's like 260, maybe 270. So I can definitely see him going on a 3 technique and playing there like in a NASCAR package, as they call it.
No doubt about it. Hey, we're going to break from the football talk for a moment. We're going to welcome in Webb Simpson, 2018 Players Champ, with us right here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 at Paul Tesori, Michelle Tesori's All-Star Kids Clinic. Always a regular here across the street from TPC Sawgrass. And good to have you, man. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, my pleasure.
This is obviously a great friend of yours.
Yep.
He's your caddy, Paul Tesori. You guys have an unbelievable relationship. Can you talk about this event, what they've been able to do? Little Isaiah.
Yeah.
The Tesoris are just awesome people.
They're awesome people. I've been blessed to have him caddy for me since 2011. And we do have a working relationship, but even more than that, he's a better friend than he is caddy, even though he's an unbelievable caddy. And, yeah, the Tesoris, through their story with Isaiah, the Tesori Family Foundation, how they've made an impact in Northeast Florida, continue to do so and continue to grow, continue to affect more and more people every year, and then persevering through the last year and making the effort to have this event. Everyone's trying to stay safe, but people want to be outside, people want to see golf. So that's been really fun to see, and I love this day.
How unique is your relationship with Paul, caddy player? You said it. You have a professional relationship. I'm sure there are times where everybody has a professional relationship, and it might not go well during the day.
Yeah.
But do a lot of guys have the personal relationship, or is yours a little extra special?
I think ours is extra special. I mean, I think most player caddies get along well, but I think it's rare to have your caddy be, one of your closest friends in the world. We don't live in the same city, but we're together 8-9 hours a day on the road. And we stay together at tournaments. We love being around each other, and that's an added bonus. Even if you have a good working relationship, we like hanging out, and I think that makes our professional relationship better because I think we can be more open and honest about my role as a player, his role as a caddy, and how we can get better.
Webb Simpson with us on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. That place across the street looks pretty darn good.
Yeah.
A lot of guys we talked to. I talked to Tyler McCumber yesterday. He said, he grew up around here.
Yeah.
Says the best it's ever looked.
Yep.
I mean, it seems like it gets better and better. What's your take on the course over there this week?
Yeah, I said it's one of the best conditioned courses I've ever seen. They've done an unbelievable job. It's as close to perfection as I've ever seen. So I'm loving this weather. I'm loving the lack of rain. The golf course is playing fast, and it's going to get faster. So it's going to be a tough challenge this weekend.
Is there a calm about you on this course now after 2018 and what you were able to do?
Yes, I think I learned then that this golf course, anyone can win, any style player. We've seen bombers win. We've seen short hitters win. Tim Clark, Kuchar, myself. But then you've had the Stinsons, Tiger Woods, the guys who hit it really far. So I love golf courses like that I feel like are a level playing field. And certainly, in March it's a little different than May. The golf course isn't as fast, but we're going to trend towards May a little bit more this year than last year.
Two more quick questions for you. I feel like there's a calm about you in your golf game in general, not about this course, since 2018. Now, I might be off just a bit because you maybe were playing some good golf leading in, and it might even have started earlier than that. We've had some conversations with you after you won.
Yeah.
But is there this confidence, this, hey, I know I'm going to go out and do this, rather than a curiosity ever since your great success here? And this is such a big tournament to win, to give you that kind of confidence.
Yeah, I think 2018 players put an exclamation point on the work that I put in to get there. I proved to myself that I still can win again out here. It's been 4.5 years since I won before. And you start doubting a little, but I was bought into my process 100%. And I think that was the difference that kind of put me over the top to win here. And since then, winning a couple more times, again, I've bought into my process. I don't sway from it too much at all, and I'm all in. And that has given me more opportunities to win on Sunday.
Paul's a really good player. Be honest now, has he ever beaten you?
He has. He beat me straight up at Augusta one year. I took him to Augusta. Shouldn't have taken him. But he beat me fair and square.
He's a good player.
He's a great player.
Yeah, very good. Well, you are too. Good luck this week,
Thank you
man.
so much.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah,
We appreciate it. And we appreciate being here, of course. We'll have you hand that off to Bubba. I think Bubba's going to stop by for a couple of moments, and then we'll let you guys run. So nice of Webb Simpson, Brittany Lincecum, and Bubba Watson to stop by, and it shows you how much they really love the Tesori family. They're certainly not here to come talk to me, but they're kind enough to do that as well. And we appreciate Bubba Watson stopping by. I don't know how deep your relationship is, Bubba, with the Tesori family, but I know they appreciate you coming out. You're a big name out here, and I know the kids love seeing you as well. Tell us a little bit of the story with you and Paul and why you're out here.
Yeah, so 2000, me and Webb knew each other for a little while. And, in 2011, we had a playoff at Zurich Classic. I don't know what the name of it was then. I guess it was Zurich back then, too. But so his ball rolled, and we go into a playoff, and I ended up winning. But, me and Webb talked that day, and then spending time with Paulie and my caddy, who I've been with since 2006, Ted Scott. And so they're really good friends, Paulie and Teddy. And so we just, over the years, got to know them, and strong Christian belief of their family and my family and Webb's family. We became really close. We do Bible study together. We do books together. And talk about a lot of issues that we have going on in our lives, right? And when they had Isaiah, there was a lot of scared times, didn't know what was going on, didn't know, when a baby's being born, don't know what's all going on. And so, we reached out to him and loved on him as best we could and as friends, and forget golf, just as friends. And, we put Isaiah in the group with us at the Masters Par 3 with Webb's got a herd of kids now. What do you got now, like 9 kids? And so 8, okay. And so, and my 2 adopted kids and Isaiah. And so we had a herd of kids, just like a school bus full of kids, And so it was a blast being able to do that. But the friendships, like I said, it goes beyond golf. Once we become friends and everything, and Michelle, what she's been able to do, not just with their own foundation, but with other golfers, other people, other athletes, other people around the country. The money she's helped raise for different causes is pretty special. And I would say easily I cry more than anybody, if people don't know that yet. So events like these, I tear up real fast, because it just puts in perspective how blessed we truly are, and how we need to use that in the right way. And I know sometimes I might have in the past got a bad rap and stuff, but there's a lot of things I do behind the scenes that people don't know, and my close friends know, but I don't like to boast about it and stuff. And I actually asked Paul if I could come, and he told me no. And so on the 17th hole yesterday, Paulie, I asked him, I said, hey, are y'all still having the All-Star Clinic? And he said yes. I said, can I go? And he said, no. And the reason why he said no is because safety, right? Everything that's going on in the world right now, and the PGA Tour asking him to be safe and try not to get tour players over there, just for safety reasons, because of our, bubble, you should say it. And so he told me no, and his wife, they text me and they said, no, you're allowed to come. And so Paulie got in trouble, but so yeah, it was fun. This is fun, just our group of friends, and then obviously when you have a friend with a special needs child, you just love on them differently, I guess you would say, because they're going through something that never had to experience. Even as an adoptive parent, I haven't had to experience what the Tesoris have experienced. And like I said, it goes way beyond the game of golf. That means nothing.
A lot of big hearts around here, and I shouldn't assume everybody knows. I think you know the Tesori name in town, but little Isaiah, born with Down syndrome, and man, he is awesome. He's a superstar, and I just assume everybody knows he is the star, but I want to remind you that, and that's who we're referring to. He's just an awesome young man, and just a great family, and like you're saying, all you guys connected. I think it's pretty cool the bond you all have personally, caddies and players. It's not just the professional relationship. How's that place looking across the street, man? You ready to go?
You know what? It's crazy. Maybe it's just we're eager, because we didn't really get to play it last year. You got the tease of the one day, but it's in perfect shape. I've never seen it this good. I know this is only my second time coming back at overseeded times, right? I came on right when they changed the date, and so getting back here, I've never seen this much grass. The greens were running way too fast on a Monday, and then it's been windy, so it made it even tougher. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's going to be a great week no matter how I play or how anybody plays. There's going to be a great champion at the end of the week, and the golf course is going to, again, hold up the test. It's just a beautiful, tough golf course that's in perfect shape this year.
I was thinking of this earlier today. We're doing a TV show later tonight, and I'm thinking about guys like some of the guys that have won this tournament. Webb just mentioned it, right? It's all different kind of players that have won the tournament. Oh, the big name guys that won the tournament. We need Bubba to win the tournament, right? We need Bubba to win the players. I mean, can you win here? I mean, can you? I know games and fits, but this is like Daytona International Speedway and the Daytona 500. It's not one game. It's not one fit. It's not one guy. Can you get it done here?
Yeah, it's one of those things. You're right. And when you think about like racing, it's your pit crew, right? Your pit crew's got to be there, and that means your support at home, your caddy, your mind's got to be in the right place. And then maybe when I had a bad shot, maybe think about the clinic, right? And it changes my mindset going forward. But I played the last 2 days with Webb and Paulie, and try to just talk to them, see how they go about it. This one visually is tough for a lot of people, but you're right. When I walk down that hallway going to the range and you see all the winners' pictures, I mean, you can look at greats of the game. You can look at people that they're all great players, but maybe not in the Hall of Fame. And so it's crazy. Bombers, short hitters, medium hitters, people that putt really well, people that attack different spots. So, yeah, it would be amazing to get my name on there, but it comes down to me. It comes down to trusting my abilities on a very difficult golf course. And this golf course for me is very visually challenging to get my feels. And but hopefully, all it takes is that 1 week, Yeah,
well, no doubt about it. One last one for you. Bubba Watson with us, Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690, live from Paul and Michelle Tesori Foundation All-Star Kids Clinic. You're an entertainer. That driver, the different shots you hit. Heck, man, I've been down in Augusta. I saw that shot. I know everybody reminds you about it, but it's still unbelievable. Do you still enjoy that part of this, of what you do, that people are kind of waiting for you to pull that driver out, what you're going to do with it?
I do, and that's when you think about it. I think sometimes we've lost it, and we've lost that athletes are entertainers. They're the same thing as a movie star or a musician. We're entertaining. That's what we're here to do, and so that's what when I'm out there, especially on the range, I love to hit shots on the range and kind of get loosened up and see what my abilities are that day going forward. And I always want to pull off that amazing shot. I think we all do. And we want to make that putt you can't make, or we want to make that chip that you can't make. We want to hit the green on 17, So we're all looking for something in our head that we can pull off and be like, okay, I did that. And it's really more for us, not for the rest of the world. But now, obviously, if it's a really cool shot, like the Masters, you tell everybody about it, you let everybody know.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You should tell everybody forever. Hey, go tell everybody about some really good shots you hit this coming week. Good luck at the Players' Championship. And we're really glad Paul, Michelle, and Isaiah allowed you to come today.
Yes, for sure.
Man.
For sure.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Thanks,
again,
man.
good luck. That's Bubba Watson, everybody. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690, live from Sawgrass Country Club. He's terrific. Webb Simpson, we appreciate him stopping by as well. Brittany Lincecum. And we'll have some Paul Tesori chatter on the way. I mean, really cool event out here to help the kids raise some money. And this is going on all across now, the PGA Tour, what Michelle and Paul Tesori have been able to do. Talk a little more football on the way, more golf. How about gambling on golf? Every shot. What's that like? Is that going to be a thing? Is that a big thing? And who do you root for in golf these days? Have some of those conversations along the way, mixed in with a little more pigskin talk. We're live at Sawgrass Country Club, our Players Championship coverage all week. Brought to you by Talon Wealth Management. And don't forget, go to ESPN690.com. Check out that Dream 18 card. 25% off this week only during Players Championship week. Go get it on ESPN690.com.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Mostly sunny and nice today. Highs in the low 70s. Cooler at the beaches, dropping into the upper 40s tonight. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 at Fox 30. Action News Jax from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where right now you can get 5 years, zero-interest financing with nothing down.
They just don't make them like they used to.
People say that a lot, and sometimes it's true, but not for air conditioners. Manufacturers actually make them better than they used to. It's just that local AC companies don't install them like they ought to. Old school rules of thumb and yesterday's shortcuts simply sabotage new school systems. Can new technology give you more comfort with longer service life? Only if the AC tech knows how to properly engineer it for your home and how to install it right. So techs that don't understand inverters, low voltage controls, and how to configure the software, dip switches, and refrigerant charge for Florida humidity, they'll totally turn it into turd buckets, especially if they just do a swap the box install without fixing your ductwork and airflow. My point, the better the technology, the more important the install. At Griffith Service, we fix what others can't, but it's best to have us install it right from the beginning. So if your new system ain't working right or your old one needs replacing, call
GriffinService.com.
1250-697.
There is a taste of the islands in every drop of Vida de Luis tequila, imported directly from Tequila, Mexico to Jacksonville Beach. Vida de Luis is the only locally owned tequila in Jax Beach. Support local and try Vida de Luis. Award-winning, smooth, all natural, no aldehydes or additives, which means wake up feeling good the next morning. Find out where you can pick up a bottle of Vida de Luis, Blanco, Reposado, or Añejo. Just visit VitaDeLuis.com. Support local and taste the islands in every drop. Happy March and almost happy St. Patrick's Day. Celebrate at Culhane's Irish Pub. A special menu for the day and catering available too. Culhane's Irish Pub has 2 locations, Atlantic Beach and on the south side. Get ready for St. Patrick's Day at Culhane'sIrishPub.com. But don't wait until March 17th. Go today for lunch or for dinner. Eat in, order out, happy hour, or even try the luncheon, brunch, and boozing specials. 2 locations, Atlantic Beach and on the south side. Culhane's Irish Pub, Irish Sass with 5-star class. We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look, a bit more of a deeper dive, and it might have done the same for you, even into the world of retirement. Although that's a bit down the road for me, it might be closer for you, and your plan should already be under a microscope. And you have to lean on the experts to help guide the right plan. My friend Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management is the perfect partner. He will provide a complimentary analysis and a plan for you. Call him at 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. That's 904-515-5000 or guardingyournestegg.com. Mike will give you the guidance you need as retirement gets closer. He can help you convert company plans to private plans, a move that might give you higher returns and more options. You've earned the money. Now make sure you are ready for whenever retirement will be. Call Mike Lester at Talon Wealth Management, 904-515-5000. That's 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
Injuries on the job can cause you to lose control. I'm Glenn Levine from the law offices of Anajar & Levine. Money is not coming in and your medical bills are piling up. Our legal team is here to help. We can help you file all your workers' compensation claims to make sure you get the proper benefits you're entitled to. If you've been injured on the job, call the law offices of Anajar & Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation and take back control of your life.
office in Jacksonville.
Hey everybody, it's Brett Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
All right, here's how I start my day in the off-season. I hope we're all brushing for 2 minutes. Smoothie time. Blueberry, TB12 protein, pumpkin seeds, 1 banana. I don't eat the ends, don't tell me. Electrolytes, obviously. Some chia seed, almond butter, hemp milk. Into the big blender.
That's cute.
Is that Tom Brady?
Oh, yeah.
It's Tom Brady. Is that you? Is that your diet?
Hey, you call that a smoothie? I add about like 20 more different things to my smoothie than Tom Brady does.
I bet
impressed.
you do.
Yeah.
How many calories are in one of your smoothies?
Realistically, probably 2,500 calories.
All right.
Do you want to hear the ingredients real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
Peanut butter, pea protein, oatmeal, chia seeds, flax seeds, apple cider vinegar, coconut oil, frozen fruit, apples, green tomatoes. I mentioned the oatmeal already. Kale, arugula, yogurt. If I said peanut butter. And, then I put like a Pedialyte packet in there as well for some electrolytes. So Tom Brady's copying me.
That sounds daunting.
It is, man.
Hey, the flax seeds and chia seeds, what do those do? Why do all those kind of drinks have that in it?
So flax seeds for the fiber and chia seeds because for me personally, it helps me retain water, so it helps hydrate me more.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I got it.
There you go.
How long does that take you to make?
Oh, man. We're talking at least 15 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. And then it takes me about an hour to drink it.
I was going to say, yeah. You drink. What time of day do you drink
thick.
that?
12:30.
Man, you are one day when you get off like this regimen.
I'm not.
Like you won't get off it?
I'm
just saying like in 10 years.
Yeah.
Like will you just like gain a lot of weight because you won't eat as religiously like you do? Or how will that impact your body?
Realistically, once I do like get off, like, because obviously I'm doing this right now because of MMA. I'm still going to do the smoothie regardless, but I'm probably going to lose some weight because right now it's high calories and high carbs just because I burn all of it off. When I stop, doing MMA, whatever day that's going to be, I'll probably lose a little weight because I'm going to take the carbs out of it and still have everything else. So
I got you.
Yeah.
That makes some sense, I guess. Hey, tell us your story real quick, or do you have a few minutes? We got to get this in.
No,
and
it's
Jason Sobel is going to join us.
Yeah.
Kuz, you let me know if he's on. But I don't think he's on yet.
He's probably on right now.
Oh, he is on. Oh, he just got in. Okay.
Go ahead and bump me again. No, it's fine. It's fine.
We'll bump you. We'll get you in on the next segment.
I'm sure you will. Hey,
no, I want you to be.
We'll see you next week, man. Hey, you have a good weekend. I have other players.
Listen,
I'm done with this.
I'm loaded up. I want you to be. I want you to share that story.
It's gotten to the point now where we're hyping it up so much. I could say something about Watergate 2.0 occurring right now, and nobody's gonna care because we're hyping it up so much right now. But whatever.
Let's bring in Jason Sobel. I want you part of this, by the way. Jason Sobel from the Action Network and covers golf for Sirius XM. Has a show with Michael Collins. Jason, what's happening, man? It's Players Week.
What's going on, guys? I'm fired up for this one. I can't wait for this to get going tomorrow.
Yeah, me either. We just talked to Webb Simpson and Bubba Watson. They're excited about it. The course looks unbelievable. By the way, follow Jason Sobel on social media. He's really fun, entertaining as he covers golf on a weekly basis. Hey, you're in the kind of like gambling game, right? I mean, this Action Network, and really golf has turned right into that, like squarely with this every shot live stuff. What a correlation. Educate us a little bit on that.
Yeah, there's so much going on, and it's moving so fast, really on a daily, weekly basis. But so many people have gotten into it. I would say just the past year, we've talked so much this week about the Players' Championship being where everything shut down a year ago and where golf went away for 3 months. When it did come back, there were really no other sports being played. And so I think a lot of people who said, well, I'm a casual golf fan. I watch the major championships. I watch the Players, but I don't bet it. I don't get into it on a daily basis. Well, now they started doing that with no other sports going on. So I think that really helps the betting markets and getting more people interested. And then there's the fact that it's just a fun sport to bet. You get 4 days as opposed to just 3 hours like a football game. You get so many players, 156 in the field this week, as opposed to just betting two different teams. And so there are so many different possible combinations to wager every week that makes it a lot more fun. And then there's the fact that, like you mentioned, the PGA Tour is all in. The PGA Tour is very involved in what is going on in the gambling world. They have 4 different official betting operators. We at the Action Network have a partnership with the PGA Tour. And as you mentioned, every shot live this week. That's not just for your entertainment value. That is because people will be sweating out bets watching certain players that maybe weren't on TV the entire time.
Well, and Jason, you mentioned it a little bit. Like back in the day, okay, I think this guy's going to win. I'm going to lay down a bet. But now it's changed so much. I mean, there's various bets that you can make. Like, what's like the hottest thing right now going in the betting community that, that guys are all about in terms of wagering some money down, I guess?
So I will tell you that on a regular basis, 95% just about of the money from the public, the guys were like, I want to throw a few bucks down, maybe I win something on a Sunday. Those are going towards outright bets, which is basically just, I put down $5. This player was $100. If I win, if he wins the golf tournament, it's going to be $500 in my pocket come Sunday afternoon. Pretty easy to understand.
Yeah.
95% of the money from the sharp bettors, the guys that are doing this either professionally or at least doing this to turn a regular profit, are on things other than outrights. They're on matchups. They're on prop bets. They're on other things where they may not be as exciting, but that's probably more of where you can turn a profit on things. So as I always tell people, it depends on what kind of bettor you want to be. I tell people all the time, before you start betting on golf, figure out what the end game is. Is the end game just to make money? Well, sure, we all want to make money, but is it only to turn a profit? Well, don't bet anything other than maybe like top 30s at even money, and at some point, you're going to figure out you can turn a profit. If you're doing it for the entertainment value because you want a lottery ticket on a Sunday afternoon and you want to bet a guy on Thursday morning who has a chance to win the golf tournament Sunday afternoon, go ahead and do it, but you're not going to win those as much as you are the other ones, of course.
Absolutely. Jason Sobel with us from the Action Network, also a radio show on Sirius XM. Jason, you've covered golf for a long, long time. As it comes to golf in general, the fact of gambling being involved with it, all the relationships and partnerships around the world that I don't even think the casual golf fan knows exists with the PGA Tour, places like Golf TV, all these other things. How healthy is this sport right now? And by the way, on top of it, golf is booming at public courses because of the pandemic. I mean, is this as healthy as you can remember it?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to say that it's healthier than the Tiger Woods prime years when we were getting people who had never watched golf before. It was almost like Happy Gilmore. People who said, I didn't pay attention to golf, but hey, this guy, he's really interesting. I want to go watch him. And so it's really hard to say that it's more popular or becoming more popular than back then, but certainly what helps is the betting component. I know a lot of people right now, friends of mine, acquaintances, who they're betting on golf. They're asking me on a weekly basis, hey, who should I bet on? And they're asking because they don't watch that much golf, but they're getting more into it because they have a personal investment. They have an engagement in the product, and I think that's so important for getting the game into the next generation, getting the game past just the diehard golf fans. And yes, you're right. The game itself, beyond the PGA Tour, is something where, we've seen Topgolf just absolutely take off over the last few years. And I think what a lot of people have said is, it's really fun on a Friday night to go out there, have a beer or two, hit some balls into the dark sky, and try to put them into one of those little corners that they have, the little wheels on the field out there. And so all of a sudden you say, well, you know what, this is kind of fun. Maybe I actually go out and play real golf. And during the pandemic, you're absolutely right. People said, man, I was stuck inside. I had nothing to do. I wasn't going to the office. I need to get outside. I need to do something, but I want to stay safe. I want to be socially distant. What can I do? Golf is the perfect activity for it. And so it's grown in that way as well.
Austin, real quick, Austin, just it makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, gambling was a faux pas. It's not anymore. You can talk about it. We can talk about this now that we couldn't 5 years ago, even, it felt like, in most places. Florida's probably going to take a while to catch up in that regard in terms of legalizing and all that stuff, but we're seeing it explode. And you just can't deny, Austin, the game that you played for a living for a few years in the NFL exploded in part because of gambling and like fantasy football, which is kind of a source of gambling.
Well, no, and it's great that, you know, whether it's the PGA, whether it's the NFL, like they're all embracing it now. Like they're not going to turn a blind eye and be naive to it because there's money to make for everybody, and it's only going to help things out. So I'm glad they're finally embracing it and celebrating it, because people are going to do it regardless if they catch on or not. Jason, I'm the casual golf fan of the show here, and my co-host is more of the expert. But all the time I hear about, you know, TPC Sawgrass, it's anybody's tournament, right? Like it doesn't favor any type of player. In terms of betting, how hard does that make it then when you can't really, like, obviously there's favorites and there's pros, but like how hard is it to try to narrow it down a little bit between who you like for this tournament, knowing that the field is so open and anybody can essentially win it?
It's a great question. First of all, I want to backtrack just a second because I think it's a great point to be made, the comparison with the NFL, whereas 20 years ago, someone might have said, hey, who's the tight end for the Bengals? And they go, I don't know who the tight end for the Bengals is. Now you go, oh, he's got a lot of upside. They like him in the red zone. I took him in the 9th round of my fantasy draft, and I play him in DraftKings all the time. And so we have become a more educated society as fans, and that's become the same thing with golf. A few years ago, we only cared about the superstars. We cared about Tiger and Rory and Phil and Jordan, and not too many guys past that. Now, people care about all 156 guys in the field because they have a personal investment on them. As far as this week, you're absolutely right, because we've seen over the last 2 decades legends and we've seen one-hit wonders. We've seen old guys, we've seen young guys. We've seen big hitters, we've seen short knockers. And so this is, in my mind, has always been the toughest of the events every year to try to handicap and try to prognosticate. How do you go about doing it? I think one thing you can look at is recent form. I went back and looked, and every winner of the Players' Championship over the past decade has finished 22nd or better in his most recent start coming into this one. So we're looking for guys who are in some semblance of form, have played well recently, and can take that form, take some momentum into this one. So it's not impossible to figure out, but yeah, you're right. It's more difficult than most other events we see during the year.
You can follow Jason Sobel at Jason Sobel, T-A-N, that's capital T-A-N, and maybe get some more tips on who you might pick this week. Is there a way you're going, like, is there this, like, long shot, like a Kentucky Derby kind of long shot that you might play or advise or you like so far this week, Jason?
There are a ton of them. That's the problem. I wish there was only one. We've seen over the years, I mentioned seeing some long shots. Siwoo Kim was 400-1 when he won just a few years ago. Tim Clark was 100-1. Craig Perks, I'm not even sure they had odds for Craig Perks back in the day when he won, but he might have been 1,000-1. So, yeah, it's worth it to look down the list a little bit. A few guys that I like, Keegan Bradley, Chris Kirk, Emiliano Grillo, Harold Varner III, all guys who have had some success on the PGA Tour, some more than others, but guys that are all triple-digit odds coming into this one that I think can have a really good week.
Let me ask you this one last question. We were talking about the every shot and being able to gamble on different things. Give me something like kind of minute that you'd be like, wow, you can really put like $5 on that?
Oh, man. How about this week, the 17th hole? They've got all sorts of 17th hole props. Depending on what book you look at, you can get an over-under on the number of balls in the water. You can get the over-under on the number of holes in one at 17. So I think there's a lot of really fun things you can do with that. Quite honestly, the combinations are limitless. I can't wait till a day, and we're not quite there yet, but at some point in the not-too-distant future, you're going to have not just matchups with, Rory McIlroy against Justin Thomas, guys who are like-minded players, but you're going to say, hey, I want to get Rory McIlroy against so-and-so who just got into the field the other day. I'm going to take Rory minus 7.5 at even money against this player and see how that plays out over the course of a few days. I think that stuff would be really fun as well.
That's a lot of fun. Jason Sobel, follow him at the Action Network, Sirius XM as well. Hey, man, love your stuff. Thanks for jumping on for a few minutes with us.
You guys, thanks, guys. Have a great week there.
Yeah, appreciate it. That's Jason Sobel here on Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690. Got you thinking, don't we, Austin?
A little bit, man. I mean, I'm not a degenerate, so I'm not you know.
But come on, 17 balls in the water? That sounds kind of fun around that iconic hole.
It really does, man. Like, now I'm like, well, I'm going to be watching this thing during my, before my fight. I'll be watching it in the locker room. Really getting amped up. Yeah.
All right. Hey, I'm going to let you go where you want to go here. We just got to take a break first.
Hey, you know what? I mean, I've been bumped by Drew Brees before, but I've never been bumped back-to-back days. But that's where we're going right now. It's all good, though.
Hey, we are locked and loaded and having a lot of fun with it. Sawgrass Country Club is where we are, where the original Players' Championship was played, at least in this area, back in 1977, right across the street. Our Players' Championship coverage brought to you by Talon Wealth Management. We'll have your Money Minute along the way, and Austin dives into what he's been waiting for 3
What time
days.
is the Money Minute going to be, so I know right now?
Yeah, just go grab a sandwich. We'll be back.
Okay.
Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690. Shake up that shake.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
Happy Wednesday. I'm Jake Mitchell. NFL free agency starts 1 week from today, and the Jags are getting a jump on things by franchise tagging O-lineman Cam Robinson. Speaking of free agency, here's Urban Meyer on how he plans to handle his very first one in the NFL.
It's not recruiting, and I understand the difference, but free agency to me is a labor-intensive proposition. That means that the hardest working, the deepest digging staffs, a lot like recruiting, they get the best player. Position coach is going to have a heavy hand on who comes in there, yet Trent and his staff obviously are the number one resource we use.
Trent is GM Trent Baalke. Elsewhere in the NFL, the Bears blocked a potential reunion for the Jags and Allen Robinson by placing their franchise tag on him. And in college hoops, congrats go out to Gonzaga because both their men's and women's team won their WCC tournaments. The Sports Center Update is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
This is Greeny with Mike Greenberg.
J.J. Watt, interesting choice. Imagine the conversation we're having today if he signed in Green Bay. Instead, he goes to Arizona, signs to play in the best division in football. Are they the fourth best team in that division? Could be. He went to the place that had the salary cap space to afford him. And again, that's not a criticism. It's just a simple statement of fact.
Greeny with Mike Greenberg. Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio. And watch exclusively on ESPN Plus.
They just don't make them like they used to.
People say that a lot, and sometimes it's true, but not for air conditioners. Manufacturers actually make them better than they used to. It's just that local AC companies don't install them like they ought to. Old school rules of thumb and yesterday's shortcuts simply sabotage new school systems. Can new technology give you more comfort with longer service life? Only if the AC tech knows how to properly engineer it for your home and how to install it right. So techs that don't understand inverters, low voltage controls, and how to configure the software, dip switches, and refrigerant charge for Florida humidity, they'll totally turn it into turd buckets, especially if they just do a swap the box install without fixing your ductwork and airflow. My point, the better the technology, the more important the install. At Griffith Service, we fix what others can't, but it's best to have us install it right from the beginning. So if your new system ain't working right or your old one needs replacing, call
GriffinService.com.
1250-697.
We all know what the most important meal of the day is, and now it's the most awesome. Moe's Southwest Grill, St. Augustine, is now serving up breakfast burritos and bowls in their drive-thru. The fluffy eggs, shredded cheese, grilled steak and chicken, and salsa if you choose. They're all available in the AM, so you can swing by the Moe's drive-thru on your way to work. No more cold cereal and oatmeal at your desk, just convenient breakfasty goodness. Get ready to be the coolest kid at the office. Welcome to Moe's.
If I'm not commuting anymore, where do I really want to live?
While you handle life's questions, Merrill Guided Investing helps you manage your portfolio and invest for your next move with the option to work with an advisor at a low cost and minimum. Merrill, a Bank of America company. Visit merrilledge.com/investing goals to get started today.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, both a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor, member SIPC. Investment products are not FDIC insured or not bank guaranteed and may lose value.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Smart speakers are becoming part of everyday life, so why not use it to listen to the radio? Tell Alexa, Google Home, or any other speaker to play ESPN 690. Give it a shot weekday afternoons from 3 to 6.
Our live Players Championship coverage brought to you by Talon Wealth Management, and it's the perfect time to bring in our friend Mike Lester from Talon Wealth Management with the Money Minute right now on Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690. Mike, hope you're doing well, and I'll tell you what, that market continues to do well, now well over 32,000.
Yeah, almost 32,300 here, so we're breaking records. It feels good unless you're heavily invested in the NASDAQ, because that's headed in the opposite direction. We've had a pretty significant correction here.
What does that mean for the people you talk to, the questions they might ask?
Well, it depends on your overall allocation. If you're a technology investor, you're feeling a lot of pain right now compared to other people being pretty happy about new highs and things like large cap stocks or like the Dow or S&P, which is market cap weighted to large cap anyway. So we're breaking records. But listen, we all knew technology, if you were paying attention, it had done very, very, very well over the past year. So if you look at your sort of annual return there, you're not negative for the year. But it's been a tough couple of weeks, and people are wondering what they should do. What I'd say is it's pretty normal. It's natural for anything that's overbought, which technology was pretty normal for it to have a pullback or a correction. Technically, a correction is considered a 10% drop from whatever the most recent high was, and we've already had that happen. But typically, if the economy's strong, a correction is the next step to another new high. So with all the money that's going to be spent here, another thing to talk about, obviously, is the stimulus bill being passed and checks going out and people getting shots and being vaccinated, going back to work, spending money. Things probably look pretty good for a while. I'll be interested to see what markets do when they decide to figure out how to pay for all this. They haven't come up with that part yet, but for now, markets should do pretty well.
If you have any questions, make sure you give Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management a call. Complimentary analysis and plan, 904-515-5000, or visit guardingyournestegg.com. You can listen to Mike and Guarding Your Nest Egg on Saturday mornings, 9 o'clock, right here on ESPN 690 as well. Mike, appreciate the time. Thanks for the Money Minute.
Hey, thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management. We appreciate Talon Wealth Management for their sponsorship of our Players Championship coverage live on location this week during Players Week. All right, Austin Lane, let's do it, man. Get to it. Here it is. What's the story? We've been sitting on it for 3 days. Apologies for lack of time, but now you got plenty of it.
I'm going to be honest. I don't want to tell this story just out of spite, but I'm going to be a professional, and I'm going to carry on because I promised it, and I always deliver on my promises. All right, so this past Saturday, Brent, if you remember UFC 259, the main event was Israel Adesanya taking on Jan Blachowicz. Now, Jan Blachowicz was a plus 200 underdog. I thought Stylebender was going to beat him. I was wrong. Blachowicz retains his 205-pound belt. But the crazy thing about Jan Blachowicz that nobody is talking about, because, well, it's pretty messed up, is his pre-fight traditions. And when we talk about a pre-whatever tradition in any sport, this is by far the craziest story that I've ever heard, and it checks out. It's true. Are you ready for it?
I am ready. I can't wait. I haven't read anything about it, honestly.
Well, and truth
so
be
I'm
told,
waiting for you.
It's a little hard to find because you don't see ESPN touting this story because, once again, it's a little messed up, but I can definitely tell this story. It's just crazy. So let's go back to 2017 quick. Jan Blachowicz just got beat by a guy by the name of Patrick Cummins, who is kind of like a journeyman in the UFC. I think he was the favorite of that fight. He gets beat. He's on a 2-fight losing streak, looking like the UFC is going to actually cut him. He goes on a walk before his last fight of his last contract. He goes on the walk. He's from Poland, mind you. He goes on the walk through the woods like he always does before a fight, and he finds a guy hanging in the woods, okay? He goes to the guy hanging in the woods and asks if he's okay. Well, obviously he's not. This guy chose to take his own life. So Jan Blachowicz had to call the police. The police came to get the guy down, and he had to stay there and obviously give his testimony. But then when the police took him down, the policeman offered, hey, do you want the rope that the guy was hanging from? And Jan Blachowicz was like, why would I do that? And it turns out in Polish culture, if someone was to hang themselves, if you take the rope, it's good luck. So Jan Blachowicz looks this up on Google, finds out that it's true, calls the police department, and they send him the rope. He then proceeds to make like a necklace that he ties around his gym bag with the rope. Since he did that, he's won 9 of his last 10 fights and is now the UFC 205-pound champion. And before every one of his fights, before he travels to Las Vegas, or I think when they're fighting in Abu Dhabi, he goes back to the spot where he found that guy hanging in the woods. He says a prayer, and then he goes to get ready for his fight. It is the strangest pre-fight routine I've ever heard. Obviously, it's working because he's, like I said, he's won 9 of his last 10 fights. But how bizarre is that? And he carries the rope wherever he goes.
In sports, I think, and especially in baseball, I know, because when I was in college, we had this phrase called hold the rope.
Yeah.
Meaning stay in it all together.
Yes.
I don't think that's how it was intended.
No, not by any means. And the fact this is like a Polish tradition where it's good luck, I don't want to go to Poland anytime soon now, if that's good luck there.
But hey, it's got me thinking, if I'm going to win the next 9 out of the next 10 days, I might look into it.
You might have to, man. It's such a bizarre story. And like I said, he goes back to that site before every single fight for good luck. And he carries that rope wherever he goes.
What a wild story to begin with, that he would find somebody there.
Yeah.
And then
the police officer gives you the rope, like suggests it?
Yeah, and then he doesn't give it to him and still will send it to you.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it's a tough, I'm trying to figure out how ESPN or UFC or anybody could tell the story. And it is kind of a tough one to tell.
Yeah, for sure. It's not something you want to brag about.
That's a tough illustration of his story. I'm going to Google a little bit more. I wonder if somebody's ever gone out there with him.
Check that out, man. I don't know. It's weird, though.
But, yeah, pretty strange. But it works for him.
Yeah.
You got the story in. It was well worth the wait, by the way.
Good. I'm glad you liked that
It
one.
was really good. It was well worth it.
I'm glad you liked it.
I'm glad we stuck around for that.
Yes.
Hey, stick around for another hour. We'll have some football at 5. We'll bump Boston out of the way a couple more times. And we'll get some predictions for the Players' Championship and a thought or two on his fight coming up in a few days, since this is Austin's last show before he goes and gets a W on Saturday in Orlando. It's coming up live from Sawgrass Country Club. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Our Players' Championship coverage brought to you by Talon Wealth Management.
CGC Water has been telling you, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Still not a believer? Well, you can believe me. My family has been a happy CGC Water customer for 4 years now. Customer service is tremendous. We got our water tested. We were told about our options in financing in detail. No pressure, just information. Installation was quick, and the CGC team was there every step of the way. And because it works. Heck, I even think my coffee tastes better because of it. And I love my coffee. A Kinetico system from CGC Water removes up to 99% of contaminants. That's clean. Schedule your free and ask how you can save up to $500. CDC is still taking extra precautions with in-home visits and continuing to follow CDC guidelines. Financing available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 for details or visit cgcwater.com. Serving Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer. There is a taste of the islands in every drop of Vida de Luis tequila, imported directly from Tequila, Mexico to Jacksonville Beach. Vida de Luis is the only locally owned tequila in Jax Beach. Support local and try Vida de Luis. Award-winning, smooth, all natural, no aldehydes or additives, which means wake up feeling good the next morning. Find out where you can pick up a bottle of Vida de Luis, Blanco, Reposado, or Añejo. Just visit VitaDeLuis.com. Support local and taste the islands in every drop.
In Florida, it's not if the storms are coming, it's when the storms are coming. And that's why you need the Chief. Jacksonville's chief meteorologist, Mike Burrish, with a proven track record of keeping local families safe. Rain, heat, hurricanes, flooding, tornadoes. We get it all. Just more reasons why you need the Chief. Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish, backed by the First Alert Weather Team. Only on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jacks.
Hey, does your car still only play CDs? No Bluetooth? No CarPlay? You've got an old car, my friend. You know what's better than an old car? A less old car. Get a car or truck that's new to you with a great used car loan from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get pre-approved for a loan and shop at any dealership in town. Get a low rate and get rid of that old car today. Apply online at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville.
Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
Do you want to upsize, move to a different area of town, or leave the area completely, but concerned about getting full value for your existing home quickly? Chad and Sandy are the only agents who guarantee multiple offers at market value or higher in 72 hours, or they'll sell it for free. Their advanced marketing system creates a bidding war, allowing them to attract sky-high prices for homeowners. No long-term contracts, no required repairs. You can cancel anytime and pick your closing date. Jimmy and Lisa in Hidden Hills said, "With our older kids out of the house, we had our hearts set on moving into our dream home." Chad not only got multiple offers in 3 days, but he got the price that allowed us to afford our new dream home. There are no long-term contracts when working with Chad and Sandy. You can cancel at any time, and you can pick your closing date. If you're serious about selling your home, call Chad and Sandy today at 904-414-6200 or go online to chadandsandy.com. That's 904-414-6200 or visit chadandsandy.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Of course, we have everything you need to take on that oil change. It's easier than you think. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Mobil 1 synthetic high-mileage motor oil and an STP extended life oil filter for just $32.99. And you can get it all fast, your way. Just order online with our free same-day store pickup or next-day delivery. Getting your job done just got easier. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. It's time for some straight talk. Your tax return could look different this year, but you're still going to hear a lot of noise about how to spend it. So when the big carriers tell you to splurge on the latest nonsense, just tune it out. With Straight Talk, you can get a Samsung Galaxy A51 for just $199. Plus, get the $45 unlimited talk, text, and data plan with no contract on America's best networks for up to 50% less. Tune out the nonsense and tune in to Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown with breaking news. Kansas Athletic Director Jeff Long resigns today. His announcement comes less than 48 hours after the school parted ways with football coach Les Miles. Long hired Miles, who's now accused of inappropriate behavior toward female students while he coached at LSU. Washington football team coach Ron Rivera says he was scared to death to put quarterback Alex Smith on the field last season.
It was always in the back of my head. You know, what if he gets hurt again? What if he hurts that leg, that specific leg again? You know, I'm going to be the guy to put him back on the field to let him get hurt again.
Smith won 5 of his 6 starts for the team after recovering from devastating injuries to his right leg. He's now a free agent. The NFL salary cap will drop by 8% for the 2021 season. The new cap figure, $182.5 million per team, down almost $16 million. 4-time WNBA champ Maya Moore announced today she will not play this season.
What? Just 15 seconds to talk about Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea? That smooth taste of real brewed iced tea with just the right kick of alcohol? What? We started already? Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Look for it in the bright yellow cans. Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
You hear me okay? Hey, welcome back here, Action Sports Jacks 690. What a day we've had at Sawgrass Country Club. And I've been saying I want to come over here during this day for the last few years. And, well, here we are. And our friend Paul Tesori and his wife Michelle put this All-Star Kids Clinic on. They do an unbelievable job. We'll talk about it coming up. But they also are kind enough to have Webb Simpson stop by, Brittany Lincecum, Bubba Watson along the way here today on Action Jacks on ESPN 690. Of course, you can always go back and listen to the podcast if you missed any of it. It's called Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 podcast. Pretty original. right there. Paul, what's up, man? Congratulations on another awesome day.
Wow, yeah, Brent, thanks for having me on, buddy. What a special day this is. Almost a year to the day when kind of the world stood still. It would have been tomorrow would have made a year. Obviously, when we got the news tonight, we would have gotten the news from the NBA that they had shut it down, and very quickly all the dominoes fell. So to be back here in Ponte Vedra, to be at the Players Championship, we got fans back on that side of the golf course, and on this side of A1A, we've got the kids back participating in our All-Star Kids Clinic, and we got all the smiles, all the laugh, all the joy. It's back, and it's good to be a part of.
You guys had some big momentum with this portion of it. Let's not talk about the golf right now, but with the kids and with your mission and what you're doing to help kids. And then obviously the pandemic even slows things like that down. Charities all over the place, dollars-wise, visibility-wise. But, man, you can see it out here again today. It's like people can't wait for this as well. Even guys like Bubba and Brittany and Webb coming out here and being around folks.
Yeah, it's just been tremendous, like you said. I mean, I'm watching just over your shoulder right now. We got a whole line of kids coming up as they're changing from the short game over to the putting and then over the driving range, and they're skipping, they're having fun, they're laughing. And this is kind of what we've missed all along, is to watch this amount of joy. Because, when we're on the other side of the street playing golf, if we hit a bad shot, we both get a little grumpy. Where these kids, they hit a bad one, they couldn't care less. But the good one, you're going to hear about it. There's going to be a celebration afterwards. And so, when COVID kind of slowed everything down, we were slated to have 22 of these All-Star Kids Clinics throughout the PGA Tour season. It's something, obviously, with my son Isaiah having Down syndrome and golf being so good to me, we were so passionate about getting it everywhere that we could, just introduce the game to the kids, and also giving mom and dad a little bit of a break and celebrating the children for a little while. And it put a big stop to everything that we were trying to do. I think we're going to start gaining momentum again. We've had a couple of tournaments reach out and saying, hey, let us know how it goes. How was it being able to socially distance? The tour wanted us to be really careful, and that's why Brittany really stepped up to the plate and told us a few weeks ago that she would come host. And then Weber and Bubba today saying, I don't care really what they say, we're going to show up. We're going to socially distance. They have to be careful with the protocols with the tour, but they're going to socially. They just wanted to come out and support us, but even more so support the kids. Yeah. And this is the kind of thing that we're seeing more and more on the PGA Tour. Other players and caddies coming up to me and saying, hey, we want to be there this year. When I told them no, they were mad. When I told Bubba when he first asked to come out, I told him no. He got mad. He called Michelle, my wife. And then, of course, Michelle's like, hey, baby, did Bubba really ask to come out and you told him no? You probably should rethink that one a little bit. And so I did. And they had a good time giving me a hard time about it. But, yeah, just really precious them being out and celebrating with us.
Isaiah, obviously the inspiration. You're a little guy, and he's so awesome, and he's a superstar around here and really just everywhere in your home. I know he is.
Yeah.
But did you ever imagine, him, the inspiration, and kind of the love of you guys' life being extending your platform now and kind of the collaboration of all your worlds going into something like this?
I really never saw it. When you first get the diagnosis of your child has Down syndrome, there's a lot of emotions that go through. There's a little heartbreak at first and concern, fear, all these other things. But as you start to progress and learn more and more and the personality starts to come out, you realize at first, nope, I'll take him just the way he is. I'm not trading him in. If God gave me an opportunity tomorrow to take away that extra chromosome that he has, I'd say no thank you. I'll take him just the way it is. Isaiah will have some different challenges, but we all have challenges in life that we do, and his will look a little bit different, but he's not going to be challenged for joy. He's not going to be challenged for happiness. He's going to have those things already naturally given to him, and because of that, he's kept this 49-year-old young. He's already taught me so much. I get mad when somebody's slowing me up in the left-hand lane on JTB. Just get out of my way. I'm getting mad, and he'll have people poking and prodding him and going to therapy still 3 days a week, and he just approaches everything with a little bit of thankfulness and joy the way I probably need to be. We won here in 2018 with that big lead going into Sunday, but there was a nervous last round, and I thought about Isaiah several times because I knew he would just tap me and go, what are you worried about? It's fine. It'll be fine no matter what happens. And, it's those kind of precious moments. And now he's bridged that gap, like you said, and the family atmosphere that we have on the PGA Tour has come through. And I really think it's because of that extra chromosome, Down syndrome, that Isaiah carries. And Bubba and Weber started a trust for him when he was very, very young. And, when I first got back after missing the West Coast, I had more men coming up with big, long hugs, telling me that they loved me and they were praying for me. And you don't get that many other places than you do in sport.
Yeah, good mommy and daddy as well. Is this the vision? Is there a bigger vision of do you even know what that looks like?
What a great question. So, the vision is this expanding. This is kind of now our flagship event, but Michelle started what we call the buddy basket program, which is where a family has a child with Down syndrome. Well, instead of paraphernalia about the struggles that you're going to have, we just give them a big basket worth about $2,500. It's got gift cards to restaurants. It's got a nice bottle of wine. It's got Monster Energy drinks, which I had used coming up. We got good coffee in there. Just everything we can to remind them to really take a second and celebrate the birth of your child. There's going to be struggles. Yeah, there are going to be things you need to worry about, but celebrate the fact that you just had a child. And he's perfectly and wonderfully made in God's image. And so we tried to do that. Isaiah Smiles, one of my favorite events. We partner with the St. Augustine Homeless Coalition, and we do Christmas for 100 families, for mom, dad, and all the kids. We meet at Kohl's. We blow out the store at about 9 a.m. the second week of December. We buy all the gifts for the family, and we wrap them all in store and then deliver them. So things like that are really passionate in what we're trying to do. And we also do a lot of stuff with the senior center close by. We do it at Ponte Vedra. It used to be called Ponte Vedra Center for, what am I trying to say? My brain's they've changed the name on me right when I had it. But for, Webb's dad passed away from Lewy body dementia, and they focus on dementia and Alzheimer's. And so we try to go there, and we do Easter there, we do Halloween there, we do Christmas there, sing carols, just try to come back and celebrate, our older community a little bit.
Yeah,
so
what a way to give back.
All the small things we can, we just want to do a little bit more each year if we can.
Yeah, and what a way to give back to this area, because you're a hometown guy, man. I mean, you love this tournament, you love this area.
The first time I walked in a tour event right here in 1977 as a 5-year-old, watching Marquez win the TPC here on these grounds.
So you saw that? You were here.
I saw that. I was here at 5 years old, and for the longest time, people would ask, "Who's your favorite golfer?" Trevino, Nicklaus, Palmer, Watson. I said, Marquez, best golfer in the world. He won here in '77. In fact, now the new clubhouse that we're looking at behind our back here at Sawgrass Country Club, they have a little shrine to Marquez back there because he was the first winner.
That's awesome. How do you feel about your team, and Webb?
If you would have interviewed me 2 days ago, I would have said, man, I'm a little nervous about where we are right now. We had some struggles ball striking, but at each day it's gotten a little bit better. We found a huge key yesterday afternoon and played the front this morning, had a good 9 holes with who did we play with Bubba, Ricky Fowler, and my goodness, Corey Connors. A great little battle, little 2-on-2 best ball battle. We fell short on that one, but we found something, had a really good last 6 holes, and then a great session after. So, again, it's a golf course that really kind of takes away the distance advantage, where that's only Webb's weakness is distance, and we're able to hit it in the fairway here. It's going to show, so I expect a good week.
I said to Webb when we had him on, there's a calm about him, a confidence ever since he won. Now, that might have come even before that, but for me, looking at him, it just feels like confident. Is this – do you sense that, first of all? But is also this ride the last few years, starting with the players, and again, maybe it started a little bit before that. Is this like as much fun in a 3-4 year window as you've ever had?
Well, for sure. So when I first started working with Weber in 2011, very quickly he went from 213 in the world to 10, won twice, won the U.S. Open the next year. So we had a very quick rise. But then we had that 3-year stretch where obviously the putter ban, we struggled. So coming back from that, this has felt very different in a good way. There's been more joy we've taken out of it, more thankfulness taken out of it. And it was here in 2017 when Tim Clark gave him that right-handed saw grip. And that is really what kind of turned things in a hurry, was when he put the saw grip on. Overnight, he went from being 192nd on tour to being a top 10 putter overnight. And then a year later, obviously, to win the Players going away, it was our first win in 4.5 years. And there is a calm about him now. He's 35 years old, got 5 kids, 10 and under, lost his father a few years ago. And I think ever since he lost his father, I've seen a different Webb, a little bit more strong Webb, a little more strength. And he kind of took on, I think, some of his dad's strength after that. That was hard watching somebody go through dementia. It is just such an awful disease. One day, hopefully, we'll find a cure. But since he came out of that, he's confident. He is sure of himself. He is calm, and each week that he goes into it, I know we have a chance to win, which is rare in this day and age with him being one of the shorter hitters to still have a chance. And when we tee it up at a place like this in Hilton Head, we know if we play our game, we're going to have a chance on Sunday.
That's awesome. Hope you guys play well. Speaking of 7:40 tee time, what do you do tonight?
Yeah.
Are you in bed at 9?
Yes, well, I'm old, 49 now, so 9 o'clock started. I'm kind of that senior special, 5:30 now, showing up at my doors across the street or wherever I am. But, yeah, so I'll go to bed pretty early tonight. Him and I will go through the pins already for tomorrow. We'll go through the wind already tomorrow. We'll do all that work tonight, so in the morning we can grab an extra 15 minutes of sleep to not have to do our homework. We'll talk tonight. I'll get to bed. I'll sleep well. I'll be at the course by 6. He'll be at the course by 5:30, and so it'll be an early morning. I've always kind of liked these early lates this week. The year we won, we went early late as well. Might have been even the same tee time, 7:40 and 1. So a great pairing with Rory and Sergio tomorrow, guys that we're familiar with, who have world-class caddies. We know what we got. So excited. To be honest with you, it's a stressful week going into kind of today and getting this done with, making sure the kids are safe. Coming tomorrow, it's kind of my little neck of the woods where I'm excited to get back and compete.
That's awesome, man. Go get it done. Paul Tesori, you're the best, man.
Yeah, Brent, thanks for having me on, buddy. I love the show, and thanks for having me.
Thanks, Michelle, Isaiah, Paul, salt of the earth folks, and doing a great job. Good luck with this, and it's a great day out here. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody.
All right, that's Paul Tesori. He'll get it done 7:40 tomorrow with Webb Simpson. We're going to roll right into, speaking of giving back, like Paul's doing, and the family with the foundation, we're going to bring in Nick Morrow from the University of North Florida, Associate Athletic Director, and it's Giving Back Day for the Ospreys as well. Nick, what's happening, man?
Well, I got a special guest with me first, though. You want to say hi? Hey, what's going on, brother?
Give us a little let's go.
We broke the record before noon, and then we decided to rise it up. We trying to get 6 digits today.
How about that? How close are you?
I know one thing. We're a whole lot closer than my golf score. That's for sure. Thank God our women's team and our men's team in golf are top 25 in the country. Our women's team's rolling 3 championships already this year. I tell you what this university and athletics in particular has done for this community and the way in which our student athletes are evolved and actually immersed in our community, Giving Day is awesome. Guy the other day said he was at Publix, had on an Osprey shirt. The girl put his bag groceries in, said, I'm a student. Guy behind him pulled up a sweatshirt and said, had a birds of trade. So it's awesome. I got to go. It's great to hear you. Dude, what's the question? Who do you think's going to, you want me to tell you the winner?
Yeah, give us the winner. No,
hey, what's DraftKings say?
Give us the winner, but hold on. Before we do it, stay on for one more second. I think you said something about the arena today on social media as you were kind of promoting Giving Day. I asked this of Scott Schroeder yesterday. If you get a good sum of money, what are you doing with the dollars, Coach Matthew Driscoll? By the way,
I think one of the first things is there's a huge hospitality section that's going in, which is going to be incredible, not just for men's, women's basketball and volleyball like the scoreboard was, but also, too, from a donor's perspective, from a president's perspective, and then people that come into the arena. You know, there's always the traffic that comes through the arena. So that's first and foremost as we move forward from the arena. And then you look at locker rooms. We're going to enhance both locker rooms, and then we need a weight room. And then, of course, with a weight room will come a training room. So it's kind of in that fold and kind of how it's going to entwine, so to speak. And we're rolling. It's been great, and it's been so good for people who want to give and for people that want to donate. So that's kind of where it's going.
All right, good stuff. Matthew Driscoll.
What's DraftKings say?
I don't even know who the favorite is. Probably Dustin Johnson? Rory
Hey,
McIlroy?
by the way, isn't he a good NASCAR guy? Hey, by the way, you know, I saw your Bortles thing and throwing and like just get Lawrence and forget about it. Like let's just move down the road and worry about spending the other 189 million cap or 182 million cap we got. You know what I'm saying?
I love it. Hey, you going to join us in a couple of weeks during the tournament?
Yes, of course. And then lastly on this one, I'm going to say, because I got to eat lunch with him, with Mr. Haight, by the way, one of our great donors and one of the great philanthropers in the city of Jacksonville. Go to the zoo. You can see him all over there, his name. When I was with Mr. Haight, I got to eat lunch with Jordan Spieth. And I'm going to tell you something. I was jogging this morning, and it came to my mind at lunch. So I'm going with him.
I like that, and he's been climbing leaderboards. Can he get over the top? That would be a popular win, Coach. I like what you're saying there, Jordan Spieth.
And he's already won one, and we know that guys can come back. You know, God bless Tiger, keep working to get him healthy, and he's come back and won another one later. So I'm just telling you, I'm just saying. All right, I gotta go.
Hey, Nick, did you ever think you'd even get to answer a question today here on the show on Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690?
Well, when he decided he was going to come on, I was like, man, I got to follow that energy level. I mean, you know me. I'm a little more even keel than Coach Driscoll, so I was nervous about that.
Hey, give us an update. Givingday.unf.edu. We had Scott Schroeder on yesterday. I know it's a big day for you guys. Obviously, Coach Driscoll just jumping in, men's basketball coach at the University of North Florida. If you did not know, talks golf and football as well, though. How's it going?
It's going great. It's already exceeded expectations. Like Coach Driscoll said, we hit all of our goals for the day by noon today. We crushed all of our records from last year, which was a record-setting year, but we're not done yet. We've reset our goals, basically. We're trying to hit 500 donors in six figures. So right now we're 24 donors shy and about 23 grand shy of that mark. So we're confident that we're going to keep pushing, and we're going to try and hit that number tonight.
All right, givingday.unf.edu, 11:59 tonight it ends. So you'll be watching that all night long, right, Nick?
Absolutely. We've got a little room set up, and we're monitoring, making calls, texts, and we're just trying to get the community to rally around this program and the student athletes we have. It's amazing in the 2 months that we've been back how much we've been able to accomplish with all of our programs up and down. Women's basketball finished the highest they've ever had in D1 history in their program. Women's golf won 3 tournaments in a row. Women's soccer's undefeated for the first time. Baseball beat nationally ranked FSU and Georgia already this season. So we've got a lot of things to be excited about.
All right, well, keep up the good work. Finish off a big day. Thanks for jumping on here on ESPN 690.
Well, thanks for having us, Brent. Take care.
You got it. That's Nick Morrow and Coach Matthew Driscoll. Givingday.unf.edu. You have until midnight tonight to help out the programs there. Really, the entire university here in Jacksonville, University of North Florida. All right, a little adrenaline rush right there, Austin Lane. He's probably gone.
Yeah, what's up? I'm here. I wish you could have just saw how I had to finagle myself back in my seat.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. Listen, we got guys coming in and out all over the place, but a fun show.
Yeah.
Included you. You're more of a guest today on the show.
No, and that's fine. The money's still the same. But my word, did you really need me to come in today, Brent? I feel like you got the show taken care of.
You never know what you're going to get. You could come up completely empty.
Sure. Yeah.
So, we're going to have a lot of fun. By the way, you remember a couple weeks ago that you said talked about the Creekside kid that was calling the baseball games. You saw me tweet that.
Oh,
and
yeah,
he was like, give me one thing. And we said during that day, well, when Austin goes away to fight and misses the show, we'll have him on. Well, that's what we're doing tomorrow.
I like it, man.
Noah's coming on the show tomorrow. He's going to co-host for a couple of hours.
Yep. Well, hey, Noah, don't do too good of a job now, okay?
No.
Because I still need to pay the bills as well. But enjoy all those endorsements that you're about to get because I'm sure he's going to be a rock star, and maybe he can teach me something.
Possibility.
No, that's awesome, though. Actually, as you were doing the interview just with Coach Driscoll here, I looked back at your timeline. I saw it must have been his mom that let him know the information on the video.
Yeah, we surprised him,
Yeah, that's a really cool moment, man. So good for him. Like I said, that kid's a hustler. He's a grinder. I respect the hustle, and good that you're giving him a chance tomorrow, Brent.
Yeah, we'll have fun with that tomorrow. We'll be live at the Players' Championship, brought to you by Talon Wealth Management, of course. Hey, what's Dak talk today? I honestly haven't seen a lot. I think it was happening kind of right around the time our show started, and it's been a little wild ride today here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. I did see that he feels healthy. They obviously know he's healthy, or they wouldn't have given him that kind of money.
I'd hope so.
And you know what's interesting about that? This is how much they know he's healthy. $75 million guaranteed this year. I think that set a record, or I think that's what it was, 75. And so if they know he's going to contribute right now. You wouldn't put all that money. I know contracts often are front-loaded that way, and every new contract, especially at the quarterback level, you want to set a record in doing something. I get it, but there's no way that you would set that kind of mark and put that money up front if you had hesitation that he would even be ready to go at the start of the season.
No, Brent, that's what we call being pot committed, and when you're pot committed, you better believe that guy is going to be healthy. So, yeah, I think it's all systems go for Dak Prescott. I didn't watch all of, it was like a presser or kind of like an interview. I didn't watch a lot of it, but I did see the part, though, where he mentioned Alex Smith as a source of inspiration of, trying to come back as fast as possible after what Alex Smith went through with his leg.
Hey, Riley Reif, released by the Vikings, offensive tackle, of course, $11 million they clear in salary cap space. Any interest?
He's been up and down. I saw John Bachman kind of take us in this a little bit.
Yeah, Iowa guy.
He's an Iowa guy. What I know about him last year, though, he actually played pretty well. I think he allowed, I'm looking up right now, he allowed only 1 sack last year, only had 1 penalty. So I like that a lot. And I'm not sure how many games he played in, but, it depends on the price tag. And if we're talking about between Trent Williams and Riley Reiff, if the price tag is negotiable, I'm still probably rolling with Trent Williams over Riley Reiff.
Yeah, and is Reiff on the left side? Is he on the left side? Right side?
It's a great question.
He might be on the right side. That's a lot either way. Either way, the Jags are – see, this is where I disagree with, again, the Trent Williams stuff. I know you say they could still bring him in. I think the Jags are saying, hey, we don't know if these guys are great at the tackle spot.
Yeah.
But we think they can be very good. And we're invested in them being very good, and we're going to see it through for another year or more to see if they'll be very good. Whether that works out, whether they're wrong, well, we'll find out. But I certainly feel like, given what they've said, given their actions of the last 24 hours, that they're riding with Jawan Taylor and they're riding with Cam Robinson, and they're keeping their fingers crossed that these guys are good.
Without a doubt. And to answer your question, Brent, Riley Reiff was a left tackle, and he was a captain for the Minnesota Vikings as well.
He did say on the left side exclusively? Okay.
Yes.
That adds another name to the mix, though, and I don't know if they expected that to be the case.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I'm looking at some articles right now. There was talks of him moving to guard, but I believe he finished up playing left tackle last year. So
okay.
There you
go.
Let's
hit the happy hour horn here in the 5 o'clock hour on a Wednesday.
Taste the islands and every drop of Vida de Luis tequila. 100% blue agave from Tequila, Mexico. Good vibes.
It's a celebration!
Taste the islands and every drop of Vida de Luis tequila, award-winning, smooth, all-natural, no aldehydes or additives, which means wake up feeling good the next morning. Find out where you can pick up a bottle of Vida de Luis, Blanco, Reposado, or Añejo. Just visit VidaDeLuis.com. Taste of the islands in every drop. We're going to take a break. We come back. We talk some more football. Spent a lot of golf in the last hour. Let's talk some football. Get back at it. What happened with Trent Baalke today? What are the Jags going to do over the next week? It's such a critical time. Does the cap space mean a whole lot? They already had plenty of it. What kind of advantage does that give your Jacksonville Jaguars? Let's discuss it. Talk about it.
Hey, Brent, did you want me here for the next segment, or do you have some kind of PGA Tour swing coach coming on to talk some swings and stances and stuff?
I actually think I need you.
Okay.
I think I'm out of gas.
I'm here for you, man. I got you. Okay, let's get to the gas station and let's recharge our batteries. Let's go.
Let's do it. We're not out of gas. Who you kidding? Let's go all the way for another half hour here on a Wednesday. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690, live from Sawgrass Country Club. Our Players Championship coverage brought to you by Talent Wealth Management.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Mostly clear and cool tonight, dropping into the upper 40s. A little fog to start with. Otherwise, a mostly sunny and mild Thursday. The afternoon high in the mid-70s. Cooler at the coast. With the First Alert forecast, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where right now you can get 5 years, zero-interest financing with nothing down.
Life is complicated. We all know it, and all can use the proper support system. You know what else can be complicated? Owning a home. And that's why Rex was built to go beyond the simple real estate transaction. Full-service agents for buying and selling, mortgage services, insurance quotes, escrow and title, even home repair. All one call away. I guess you could call Rex your home support system and not a typical brokerage. Call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. Want more? Of course you do. With all that convenience comes reduced fees, too. In fact, the average Rex homeowner saves over $10,000 when buying and selling a home. Want to get started? It's never too soon. Call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. 833-739-4663. Florida license number CQ1057788. For further licensing disclosures, please visit rexhomes.com.
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. From complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, with 24/7 support and experienced staff at over 250 local branches. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
People have been isolated for months by COVID-19. If you're concerned for someone who may be experiencing sexual or in need of confidential anonymous information, please call the Florida Sexual Violence Line at 88956-7273 or go online to fcasv.org. Help us end sexual and dating violence in Florida. This message is sponsored by the Florida Department of Health, the Florida Council Against Sexual Violence, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Are you interested in going into business for yourself? Do you know how to write a business plan? What is the best use of social media? What type of loans and other financing is available to a small business? These are among the many topics that SCORE addresses through the workshops and webinars we conduct all year long. Our presenters are subject matter experts and offer great insights that can make a difference to starting or running your business. Go to jacksonville.score.org and click on the Take a Workshop tab to see which one is of interest to you and sign up today.
Hey, boss, how's it going?
How's it going? Oh, let me tell you how it's going. So far this year, I've broken my pinky toe, had a flat tire, and currently I'm trying to pass a kidney stone the size of Rhode Island.
Well, karma strikes again.
What?
Nothing. Oh, look, it's the first Crooks Are Us survey of 2021. They're asking crooks like us to list the top reasons we avoid safe touch houses.
There's the crash and smash technology, the video monitoring.
Yeah, but what's number one?
Gotta be the two-way communicator.
That's what I said.
Oh yeah, the two-way communicator leads to verified alarms, which lead to faster response times, which are all very bad for us crooks.
Which all just circles back to the Crooks Are Us golden rule. Stay away from safe touch houses.
Yeah, thanks, Captain Obvious.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look, a bit more of a deeper dive, and it might have done the same for you, even into the world of retirement. Although that's a bit down the road for me, it might be closer for you, and your plan should already be under a microscope. And you have to lean on the experts to help guide the right plan. My friend Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management is the perfect partner. He will provide a complimentary analysis and a plan for you. Call him at 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. That's 904-515-5000 or guardingyournestegg.com. Mike will give you the guidance you need as retirement gets closer. He can help you convert company plans to private plans, a move that might give you higher returns and more options. You've earned the money. Now make sure you are ready for whenever retirement will be. Call Mike Lester at Talon Wealth Management, 904-515-5000. That's 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com.
Do you want to upsize, move to a different area of town, or leave the area completely, but concerned about getting full value for your existing home quickly? Chad and Sandy are the only agents who guarantee multiple offers at market value or higher in 72 hours, or they'll sell it for free. Their advanced marketing system creates a bidding war, allowing them to attract sky-high prices for homeowners. No long-term contracts, no required repairs. You can cancel anytime and pick your closing date. Jimmy and Lisa in Hidden Hills said, "With our older kids out of the house, we had our hearts set on moving into our dream home." Chad not only got multiple offers in 3 days, but he got the price that allowed us to afford our new dream home. There are no long-term contracts when working with Chad and Sandy. You can cancel at any time, and you can pick your closing date. If you're serious about selling your home, call Chad and Sandy today at 904-414-6200 or go online to chadandsandy.com. That's 904-414-6200 or visit chadandsandy.com.
If you're usually listening to ESPN 690 in your car, but your boss has you working from home this week, well, take us with you. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jax. Tell Amazon Echo or Google Home, play ESPN 690, and enjoy all that sweet listening coverage.
Austin Lane.
The Rock, out of nowhere, buys the XFL during a pandemic, mind you, goes half in with his ex-wife. So now you're going to business with your ex-wife.
Brent Martineau.
I don't know if that's on the business advice list.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Trevor Lawrence is going to fix a lot of stuff that they need fixed in Jacksonville. So, to your point, Matt, I understand the concept of what you're talking about. I understand why you would say that, but I'm with Boog as well. If you don't fix or have a line of scrimmage in the NFL, you ain't close to nothing. So depending on what they do in that level in the trenches is when I can determine how close Jacksonville is. They ain't close right now.
Who was that? Marcus Spears?
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Man, this is like child's play here.
Oh, no way. You know ESPN personalities? Go figure. By the way, not even in my top 20 guesses for Marcus Spears. Sorry, Marcus. He's a former Jaguar too, right?
No.
He was not?
I don't think Marcus is from.
Didn't he spend some time in Jacksonville?
I don't think so.
My bad.
I don't think so.
I was way off, I guess.
I mean, you could be right and I could be wrong. I don't think that's
No,
the case.
no, you're right. He played for the Cowboys and the Ravens. For some reason, I thought maybe. Wait.
Did he have a cup of coffee with the Jags?
Hold on. Spears underwent 2006 in the season. Oh no, he got at the Jacksonville. He got hurt at the Jacksonville Jaguars, I guess. Recorded his only sack this season. Second quarterback marker now.
Okay.
All right, so he had his only sack of the season back in 2006 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So there you go.
Did somebody really try to compare Trevor Lawrence to Blake Bortles today? Did you see that?
No. What do you what? What does that mean? No. What are you talking about?
I'll tell you in a second.
Why? Take away whatever social media account that was on right now. Let's go to Twitter and let's tell on them. Let's snitch on them right now.
I'm going to get it for you. I tweeted it. It's one of a million tweets
I want
today.
a name so I can go to war here.
Is it Bob McGinn?
No, it's Benjamin Solak, who at least shared this. I don't know if he actually said.
Solak.
So here's what he says. Okay.
Well, hang on. Can I have his handle so I can go to war right now, please? Before you.
Yeah, Solak. But again, I don't think he said this. I think this is him just sharing the information.
Don't share it either. But go ahead.
Don't share it.
He's guilty by association.
All right. So this part of whatever he's sharing says Lawrence went through an individual workout February 12th, 4 days before undergoing surgery to repair labrum damage in his non-throwing shoulder. Expected to be ready by mid-July. Quote, he is a great athlete and has a strong arm, a second scout said. Quote, the guy has a chance to be great, but you break him down game after game, he's not an accurate passer. Where he has problems is inside the numbers, inconsistent touch. Is he Josh Allen or Blake Bortles? Bortles was a big-time athlete, but he wasn't accurate. People were all excited about size and the way Bortles could run. The ACC is not a good league, okay? The only real competition Clemson, get every year is in the playoffs. He didn't play well. Even when they beat Ohio State, he beat them running, not passing. They totally shut the guy down. Who is this second scout and somebody fire him?
Brent, who said this? First, answer that question, please.
Well, it's a second scout. Like a scout said this.
But I'm saying who put this in an article? Like who posted this and said, hey, subscribe to my whatever because I think Blake Bortles is just like Trevor Lawrence.
I saw the guy who tweeted it again. Have you found the guy's name? Solak. Benjamin Solak is the one that shared it.
Okay. Solak. Okay.
I can't do anything more from here.
Okay. Well, he's verified. Look at this. Hang on, Wolf of Wall Street. You can't have a Twitter profile picture like that where you appear to be on a broken down yacht with those circular sunglasses. Like what was the movie with Michael Jackson? Where was it? Danny DeVito was the bad guy, and he had those circular glasses. Moonwalker, the bad guy from Moonwalker. You can't rock those glasses, man, and have an opinion. Now, with that being said, when did he say this?
Again, this
We're
is
going
somebody,
to war.
He's quoting somebody.
But who's he quoting, Brent?
This is how reporting works in the NFL. It's a second scout. It's a source. It's an anonymous source. Somebody's not going to put their name on it. that says something like that.
Brent, this could be a guy living in his mom's basement eating Cheetos for all I know. We don't know who said this.
But let's just rule out this, okay? I was a guy that died on the Blake Bortles hill.
Sure.
I like Blake, so I hesitate to just sit here and rip Blake. But if you're going to compare, you can stop after the first 3 feet of when each guy throws the football. Trevor Lawrence, watch how it comes out of his hand, and I'm a novice at this, people. Like, I'm not some QB expert. I don't hear the ball whistling by and know what that means. You can just watch and see the ball come out of a hand 3 feet later and then watch Bortles do it, and it's two different things. I mean, the big knock against Bortles, it's not that his biggest knock wasn't even inaccuracy. His biggest knock was he wasn't a natural thrower of the football. And trying to get to be a natural thrower of the football or a good thrower of the football was difficult. He went out to California for years, tried to do it, tried to fix things. At times it would work, at times it wouldn't. But and that certainly contributed to some of the inaccuracy. But, I mean, this is just like a ludicrous comp. It's just ridiculous, and I understand we all believe that. There are some things that you can say, and if you want to make the case and be like, all right, I'm going to be that guy like Chris Sims that says Trevor Lawrence isn't going to be as good as everybody says. He still might be good, but he's not as good as everybody says. If you're going to take that, listen, there's always got to be that side. And I've even wondered along in this process why there hasn't been more of that side, because there's always that side. But that is totally different than saying Trevor Lawrence, who most people, like 98% of people, say is one of the best prospects to ever come out. And now trying to convince me that it could be a Blake Bortles comp, I mean, that guy shouldn't scout anymore, or he shouldn't talk anymore.
No, I mean, yeah. I don't know what to think of this. I don't know if it's even true or if this guy just pulled something out of his you-know-what. I have no idea. I have no idea what to make of this. There's no source on it, so, like, that doesn't help things. I just can't believe that my Jan Blachowicz story got put on the back burner for 3 days, but now we're breaking down articles of a guy I don't even know who wrote the thing. Brent, we have zero sources right now, and we're just going to go off of a whim with a guy that looks like the dude from Wolf of Wall Street, but like 10 years younger. I don't trust anybody in the situation right now.
I guess not. Let's talk about this instead. Cowboys have restructured the contracts for Zach Martin, Tyron Smith, and La'el Collins. Roughly $17 million in cap room. Now, restructures can be fine. This isn't saying take a pay cut. We saw Christian McCaffrey do this as well today with Carolina, who's trying to create some cap room ahead of free agency. Just briefly, we talk about cuts and restructures and franchise tags. These are things players don't usually love to have conversations about, Austin, but we're seeing a bunch of players willing to restructure.
Yeah.
Is that just an easier thing to say yes to?
In terms of taking a pay cut and restructuring?
Well, pay cut and restructure can be two different things.
Of course.
Right? It's just about where you're getting your money and kind of putting it around what fits in the salary cap and what's going to be on the books for this year versus next year. And so there's a distinct difference between taking a pay cut and a restructure. But does restructuring at all, or being asked to restructure, does that rub players the wrong way? Because we just saw it now across the league today that there have at least been a handful, and probably more that I even missed.
Yes and no. Obviously, every restructured deal is different. Sometimes they load it on the top end, and sometimes they load it on the back end. Now, obviously, if the pay restructure is loaded on the front end, that means that you get paid up front. So the team is putting trust in you that you're still going to be playing football, you're still going to be training like you should be, and you're not going to slack off now that you got a lot of money. On the other side of the coin is when they pay you on the back end. And that means to tell you, like, okay, well, we got to take some money away. But if you're here in 2 or 3 years, then you make more money pending you're still here. So it actually makes you work harder. In terms of how do players feel about it, every situation's different. I think if a player's been in an organization for a while and he understands what's at stake in terms of maybe sacrificing some of that money up front so that they can sign new guys to try to win a Super Bowl, they're all for that. But I think if it's a case like Andrew Norwell, who, you know, Urban Meyer, who's had some experience with in college, but he's coming in a new situation now and has a lot of coaches that never coached him before, that's different because now you're asking a guy to take a pay cut and you haven't coached him yet in the NFL. So it all depends on the situation and how long the guy's been vetted in the program.
Yeah, by this time next week when you come back, by this time next week we'll know free agency has hit, and we'll see a little bit of the impacts of all this restructuring and some of the cuts, and also the fact that the new cap space is 182. We know where it is. Trent Baalke said today he anticipated between 180 and 185. So the Jaguars know what they had to play with. This wasn't a stunner to them, and they've got plenty to play with. So as we kind of get off this topic, and you're not here Thursday and Friday, when we're talking next week, I mean, do you expect some splashes from the Jacksonville Jaguars based on what they have and maybe their mentality going into this next week?
Yes. So, the way free agency works is we're talking about the high-valued guys, the top-dollar guys. Those are the first ones to get signed. And I think if we're talking about a Jonnu Smith, a Hunter Henry for sure at the tight end position, like they're going to be high-value tight ends, obviously, because they're the top two. I think you will see some splashes right away. I think it would be smart to make splashes right away because then it gets everyone talking. And let's be honest, like optics isn't everything. But like I've said before, this is Urban Meyer's first year. You want to make a big splash. You want to get the city excited. You do that by signing some big free agents right away.
We'll see what they do. We're just a few days away from it happening. Next week's going to be a big week around here and down at Jags headquarters for sure. Players' Championship picks, a sleeper and a favorite to win. We got that coming up. And one more thought or two on Austin's fight on the horizon in a few days. That's coming up on Saturday, and it's talking about it next on Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690. Live from Sawgrass Country Club, our Players' Championship coverage brought to you by Talon Wealth Management.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
Happy Wednesday. I'm Jake Mitchell. NFL free agency starts 1 week from today, and the Jags are getting a jump on things by franchise tagging O-lineman Cam Robinson. Speaking of free agency, here's Urban Meyer on how he plans to handle his very first one in the NFL.
It's not recruiting, and I understand the difference, but free agency to me is a labor-intensive proposition. That means that the hardest working, the deepest digging staffs, a lot like recruiting, they get the best player. Position coach is going to have a heavy hand on who comes in there, yet Trent and his staff obviously are the number one resource we use.
Trent is GM Trent Baalke. Elsewhere in the NFL, the Bears blocked a potential reunion for the Jags and Allen Robinson by placing their franchise tag on him. And in college hoops, congrats go out to Gonzaga because both their men's and women's team won their WCC tournaments. The SportsCenter update is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
I should have my kid tell you about Jumpin' Jack's House of Food. It's Ty's favorite burger in town. Make it one of your favorites as well. Jumpin' Jack's House of Food has 3 locations now, Atlantic Beach, Mandarin, and downtown Jacksonville. Change your life burgers. But they have salads, pizza, and much more on the menu, too. Let Jumpin' Jack's House of Food be your great neighbor. Lunch or dinner with the family, or they will cater parties from 200 to 500 people. Jumpin' Jack's, HOF.com for online ordering. Jumpin' Jack's House of Food, open 7 days a week.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look, a bit more of a deeper dive, and it might have done the same for you, even into the world of retirement. Although that's a bit down the road for me, it might be closer for you, and your plan should already be under a microscope, and you have to lean on the experts to help guide the right plan. My friend Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management is the perfect partner. He will provide a complimentary analysis and a plan for you. Call him at 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. That's 904-515-5000 or guardingyournestegg.com. Mike will give you the guidance you need as retirement gets closer. He can help you convert company plans to private plans, a move that might give you higher returns and more options. You've earned the money. Now make sure you are ready for whenever retirement will be. Call Mike Lester at Talon Wealth Management, 904-515-5000. That's 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com.
Do you want to upsize, move to a different area of town, or leave the area completely, but concerned about getting full value for your existing home quickly? Chad and Sandy are the only agents who guarantee multiple offers at market value or higher in 72 hours, or they'll sell it for free. Their advanced marketing system creates a bidding war, allowing them to attract sky-high prices for homeowners. No long-term contracts, no required repairs. You can cancel anytime and pick your closing date. Jimmy and Lisa in Hidden Hills said, "With our older kids out of the house, we had our hearts set on moving into our dream home. Chad not only got multiple offers in 3 days, but he got the price that allowed us to afford our new dream home. There are no long-term contracts when working with Chad and Sandy. You can cancel at any time, and you can pick your closing date. If you're serious about selling your home, call Chad and Sandy today at 904-414-6200 or go online to chadandsandy.com. That's 904-414-6200 or visit chadandsandy.com.
Saying goodbye to a loved one is never easy. Hi, I'm Larry Self, owner of The Casket Store. For the past 20 years, we've been helping people create the perfect cemetery headstone. Our process is simple, no pressure, and our prices are surprisingly low. We install headstones, bronze markers, and upright monuments in any cemetery in the Southeast. We also offer bronze plaques for churches and schools. For more information and to see our work, please visit us at thecasketstore.com.
It's been 6 months since my wife leased her new Cadillac from Fields Auto Group, and she absolutely loves it. It's our first experience with Fields, and it's been terrific. They say you can step up to luxury for less, and we did. Not just a luxury Cadillac XT6. The car is beautiful, but the customer service is extra special, too. It was like that at Fields Cadillac Jacksonville, and it will be like that at any of the Fields locations in Jacksonville. Cadillac, of course, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche as well. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. We are now part of that Fields Amenities program, and my wife tried the loaner program. It was easy and a nice added benefit. So whatever you're driving, see Fields and step up to luxury for less. Check out their locations all around Jacksonville, just like we did. You can go visit fieldsauto.com.
Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mahente.
I despise analytics. It felt like Kevin Cash lost his ability to feel the game.
Keyshawn, Jay, Will, and Zubin. Weekday mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio or streaming live on the ESPN app.
So at pick number 25 overall, we've spent months talking about what happens at 1. We know what's going to happen at 1. Let's move down to 25. And I look at someone who Urban Meyer should be very familiar with, a wide receiver from the University of Florida. That is Kadarius Toney, who can be used in so many versatile ways. I see him a lot like someone Urban had when he was the head coach of Florida, Percy Harvin. And I know Jacksonville has Laviska Shenault, but Kadarius Toney can be that H receiver for Urban Meyer. That means you're going to see him in motion. There are going to be times where he motions back to the backfield, catches swing routes in the flats, makes plays in space. He's aware, he's tough. I know Kyle Pitts had a lot of touchdowns from Kyle Trask last year, but Kadarius Toney was exceptional after the catch. He's not maybe the fastest guy in the open field, but fellas, I think this roster is much, much closer than people realize if they can draft well in 2021.
Say it again, Kuz.
That was NFL Live. I bet it's, I don't know. I don't even think Kuz knows who this is, but I'm going to guess it's Field Yates.
No, it wasn't him.
It wasn't Yates?
No, I'm not sure who it was, but he was a newer guy.
I know you know. It's on ESPN NFL Live.
I got you.
Good enough. But
yeah, and by the way, did he say Laviska Shea Butter? What did he say?
He said Shenault.
Shenault. Okay, interesting.
Listen, I'm not going to criticize the guy for pronouncing a name. It's not like I've never mispronounced the name.
Brad, who are you talking to, man? From the guy who couldn't pronounce, and I still can't pronounce the Duquesne or whatever university.
Duquesne.
Yeah, there you go. Kenny Duquesne. I like that, man. It's got a Kenny Duquesne shirt going.
Hey, you'll never forget it now. Kenny Duquesne.
Kenny Duquesne, man. That's got to be a shirt.
Listen, man, Duquesne needs to do that. They should do that.
Kenny Duquesne?
Yeah.
Absolutely. What are we talking about here?
That would be very smart of them.
Yeah.
All right. I always like how you go about your picks.
Yes.
Did you do some deep dive research on the Players' Championship picks?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Listen, if anybody does their due diligence when it comes to golf, you know it's ESPN 690's own Austin Lane. And I refer to myself in the third person because that's the first time I think I've done that on the show. And it's talking about golf, so figure. So my favorite to win, I know this guy's super popular, but he's got a great set of hair, nice tan. It looks like he spent some time at the Lemon Bar. We could get some drinks together, obviously pre-COVID-19. Take that into account. I'm taking Colin Morikawa, Brent, for my favorite.
All right, that's a good one. That's a good pick.
And as I'm breaking down the pictures here, this is going to be a little more difficult. The underdogs. I don't know who's an underdog and who's not an underdog. It really comes down to two guys who just scream salt life with their hairstyles. It's either Mark Hubbard or Matt Jones. Matt Jones has a Jacksonville connection, not the same player as the Jaguars guy, so give me Mark Hubbard. Mark Hubbard rocking this green shirt in this profile picture, very Jax Beachy, hasn't seen a haircut in a couple years, so give me Mark Hubbard.
All right. Kuz, you got anybody?
So I think I'm going to go Rory McIlroy just because I want to see every golf person pissed off because he'll be his second in a row.
Yeah, and for 3 years have the trophy, really.
But then people will try to argue that he didn't win it in back-to-back years. So that's what I want. And then for my sleeper, you guys know I'm pretty lazy. So I actually recruited some help here, and I'm going to let this celebrity guest tell me the answer.
Hit him with it. Let's go.
The only option.
Is he on?
Hold on.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Try it now.
This is like his Austin story.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
The only option that you can go with for a sleeper that is respectable is Will Zalatoris here.
Wow. And why would you say that, special guest?
He's brand new on the tour.
Okay.
Non-regular golf fans probably don't know much about him. Have you ever heard of this person?
Never heard of him, man. He's got a mouthful of a name, so I don't like that already.
He's got flow, though.
He's got flow. Okay. He's got flow.
He's brand new, like I said. 4 top 10 so far this year.
Yeah.
He's just quality.
Okay. I'm looking at him right now. Young-looking lad here.
That's him.
Jax Beach worthy. Okay. I'm not mad at that.
Blonde hair.
He's got flowing blonde hair.
Yep.
Good smile. Okay.
So there's my pick.
All right. I like it. There you go. I almost picked the sleeper out of that same grouping. And Maverick McNeely, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go with the guy that we talked to earlier in the week, guys. Lotto Griffin's been playing really good golf. Well, he hasn't been as of late, but he has had during the course of the season, and he's played here so many times. Let's go with Lotto Griffin as a sleeper pick for me. But I'm going to go with my favorite pick being Patrick Cantlay, playing with Justin Thomas and Victor Hovland in that first group. Patrick Cantlay will be kind of the least known guy of that, probably the least known buzz of that grouping.
Okay.
But look out for him. He's got some good game. Patrick Cantlay would be probably good money if you picked him and won, even as the guy that I think can win this golf tournament, and that's where my pick is going to lie. I'm going to stay away from the big names like the DJs, the Rorys, and everybody else, and I'm going to go that next wave. It's Patrick Cantlay. Hey, real quick, who do you root for? Do you root for guys like Bryson DeChambeau now, or do you not like Bryson DeChambeau? What do you think?
No, I mean, I still enjoy Bryson DeChambeau because I've actually heard of him. I know his story a little bit. So I root for him like he hasn't given me a reason not to root for the guy. So I'm all aboard the Bryson train.
Well, it's interesting, right? Because Tiger and Phil, well, now Tiger's out and hurt, and Phil, like, he doesn't look like he's even in contention anymore. It's kind of like, who do people root for right now in the game? Is it the young guns? Is it the Morikawa? Is it the Hovland? Is it guys like that? Is it still Rory and DJ and Ricky Fowler even, who's won here before? I think that part of it's interesting to kind of find that wave of, okay, we're really pulling for this guy. And I'm not sure that exists, although Rory I really like a lot. And you could certainly put him in that category.
Who are you cheering for, special guest, real quick?
I like Rory.
He likes Rory, okay.
Yeah, there you go. Rory's a good dude. Seems like I really like where Rory's at. He's just a good superstar guy. You know, I appreciate those guys, and I think Rory is that. All right, man, you got fight night in Orlando Saturday.
Yes, sir.
You fully confident you're going to get it done?
100% confident, man. Gotta be. I put the work in. Now it's time to go have some fun. A cage is just another giant playground for me to have fun on, so I can't wait, man.
Hey, how much better are you now than the last time you fought him?
Night and day.
Really?
Honestly,
You seriously have grown that much?
Yeah, I talked about it before a little bit. So my last fight, which was last September, that was the first fight where everything kind of fell into place and the game truly slowed down for me. I felt like since my last fight, I took another level that I haven't reached before, and the goal obviously is I've done everything the same I did for my last fight. So it's experiencing that flow again and having fun doing it.
All right, man. Well, good luck. We'll be rooting for you, thinking about you. Go get it done. Bring back a W for sure.
You better believe it.
You get the next 2 days fully off. I kind of gave you most of today off.
Hey, man, it's all good. I got to tell my story. It was a fun day.
Thanks to Kuz as well, and for Bubba Watson, Brittany Lincecum, Webb Simpson, Paul Tesori. Really a great day out here at this All-Star Kids Clinic. The Tesori Family Foundation, they do a terrific job. Genuinely nice people as well, and people you can root for, and they do a great job of giving back in their home community right here. Thanks to Sawgrass Country Club for having us. We'll be over at TPC Sawgrass tomorrow. Round 1 of the Players' Championship on the way, and we'll see you on TV tonight. We'll see you on TV. 11:15 on CBS 47, Fox 30. We'll have specials, 15 minutes long, starting tonight and going all throughout the rest of the week. Live, local, loud coming up next. Good luck, Austin.
Will do. See ya.
Shred your goals this year with the new Metabolism Boost Banana Passion Fruit Smoothie from Smoothie King. At only 240 calories and 14 grams of protein per 20 ounces. This